life sentence that I'm serving. I admit that I'm every bit deserving, but the beauty of grace is that it makes life not fair. 'Cause I've been housing all this doubt and insecurity. Now I've been locked inside that house. All the while you hold the key. Now I've been dying to get out, and that might be the death of me. And even though there's no one knowing where to go, I promise I'm going, because I gotta get out of here. 'Cause I'm afraid that this complacency is something I can't shake. Yeah, I gotta get out of here. And I'm begging you, I'm begging you, I'm begging you to be my escape. I am a hostage to my own humanity, self-detained and forced to live in this mess I've made. And all I'm asking is for you to do what you can with me, but I can't ask you to give what you already gave. 'Cause I've been housing all this doubt and insecurity, and I've been locked inside that house. All the while you hold the key, and I've been dying to get out. That might be the death of me, and even though there's no way of knowing where to go, I promise I'm going, because I gotta get out of here. I'm stuck inside this rut that I fell into by mistake. I gotta get out of here. And I'm begging you, I'm begging you, I'm begging you to be my escape. I fought you for so long, I should've let you in. Oh, how we regret those things we do. And all I was trying to do was save my own skin. But so are you. So are you.
You love Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
That's right, everybody. This is State of My Sports, and this is episode 138. We're going to start out talking about Michigan State's victory just a little bit, not much, not a whole lot to unpack with that one, but they got the nice bowl victory. We got to talk about that. We're also going to wrap up bowl season with and talk about how each conference did, and the Big Ten in particular. We're going to hit on the disappointing effort by Michigan Wolverines in their first playoff appearance. The Detroit Lions loss that solidifies a number 2 overall pick. Yeah, they could get the number 1, but we all know it's not going to happen. So we're going to have our first mock draft 1.0.
Yeah.
Get ready for that.
Can't wait.
The pick is not in yet, but you guys know the sound when it is. At the end, we will make our betting hero picks of the week and grade some great craft beer from the state of Michigan. If you are joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, please let us know and be part of the conversation in the comments. We're going to bring that back. We got the Samza Awards coming up here towards the end of the episode. We want to know everybody else's opinion on those as well. So if you guys are still sticking around then, please jump in and be part of the conversation. Let us know who you guys would give awards out to for this year in the state of Michigan. Before we jump in, I did want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that help keep this thing rolling and free for our listeners. The Hop Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports. Mac Web Design helps us get our website up and running. Betting Hero helps us, and you get the best promotions available in the sports betting world. And with the playoffs coming around, if you're not in the sports betting world yet, if you don't have the DraftKings or the fan duels or whatever, pretty much whatever. There's so many options. If you don't have one of those yet, get ready because they're going to be giving away some free money. Take advantage of it. Starts out with bettinghero.com. I am Sam Waldhart. With me today, we got Ryan Waldhart and Micah Smith back from vacation. Was gone last week. Micah, what were you guys doing? Where were you at?
Road trip. Took the family on a road trip. Did all sorts of stuff. Went and seen Noah's Ark.
Yeah, how was that?
That was really, really cool. And you guys, I asked you guys last time, like, how much time I should allot. We had about 4 hours, and it wasn't even close to enough time.
I didn't want to oversell it.
I thought I told you 6 hours, and it wasn't enough. I thought I could be wrong, but I
you
thought
could
that's
have,
how we.
You could have a full 8-hour, 10-hour day there, and you're not gonna. I mean, you're gonna be rushed.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: is that they had limited hours, so it was only.
did it? Okay.
Yep, it was only 1 to 6 the day we went, and we were an hour late. I mean, we left here and went straight there.
Oh, okay.
So just road trip stuff, fueling up and whatnot. We ended up an hour late, so we had 4 hours. And made the most of it.
Yeah.
But it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's
Isn't it?
insane. Just how big it is.
Yeah. You see it from the highway. As soon as you get off the exit, you can see it from there. And
It's
it's
so
just like,
cool.
whoa.
See, and the best part about it was we didn't tell the kids what we were doing.
Oh,
And so
man.
we let them read the sign, and they still didn't really get it because it's actually off in the distance.
Yeah.
Quite a ways if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And our kids are 6 and 8, and they just they're short. They're not good at looking around, right?
Yeah.
So by the time we rolled up on the bus, then it got real for them.
Yeah.
They're like, no way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
massive.
so cool.
Well, the bus adds to the experience too, right? Because you get on the bus, it's like you feel a little bit like Disney World. You're going to a destination, you get off of it, and it's like right in front of you.
And then you start driving through. They have like the zip lines and stuff like that. Obviously, with the weather, I'm sure you guys didn't do any of that stuff. And I don't know if I would do that. Like, I feel like that would be a waste of time with everything else you can, do like at that place.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of stuff where they try to get people for more than one day because they do have the museum pretty close by too. It's like 45 minutes, 30 minutes
for
away
the
or
people.
something.
So we were at the you were at the Ark Encounter, and that's in Kentucky, right? Is that?
Yeah.
How close to Louis? Like, where in Kentucky is that? Do you guys know?
Just south of Cincy, basically.
Okay.
Not too far. I would say maybe within an hour of Cincy.
Oh yeah, easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So it's not too bad of a drive then, really. Like, what would it be from here?
6 hours.
6 hours
Yeah, it's
drive.
about
Maybe a little more than 6, but yeah.
That's cool,
Pretty close.
man. And I think the coolest thing about the Ark Encounter was the way that they did like the water, like how the water would feed each of the animals and stuff like that. Man,
Yeah.
it was so cool.
Amazing.
It was really cool, and there's so much history too. Like you can like the art that they have of like pictures. It's, like I'm not very good at reading and like understanding and like picturing it.
Yeah.
But those pictures was like, holy smokes, those are some dark days.
Yeah, you got the picture.
Very,
You
very
get
dark.
the picture, and it's crazy, and it's I don't know, it's really cool.
I think they did a really good job explaining a lot of questionable things that people would question or wonder about.
Yep.
Things that I thought, did that really happen? And then it got really explained just in layman's terms, and I thought, you know what? All right.
Yeah, the big animals are big, and the small animals are small.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that they say, right? Like, why do we
Yeah.
always assume huge, massive animals? They could have been the small ones.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah. No, that's true. That's cool. And you guys had a good time. You went to which Carolina?
We went to North Carolina now because he lives just outside of Charlotte, but Charlotte is about 30 minutes from South Carolina.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
his parents live in South Carolina. He lives in North Carolina now. We had a good time there. We ended up having some time downtown in Charlotte just hours after North Carolina and South Carolina played at Bank of America Stadium.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So
I bet you that was pretty. Can you imagine Michigan State playing in a bowl game?
right.
Like it's pretty crazy.
It was pretty cool. I mean, asking people what they thought and asking.
What is the feel like? Are most of them North Carolina fans or South Carolina?
I would say 90% of the kids there were North Carolina fans.
Do you think like it's kind of like a Michigan State thing where it's like Michigan fans, like you grow up being more of a football fan. Those are the South Carolina fans, and then the UNC fans are more
the newer football fans?
the newer football fans, or just like the diehard basketball fans. like Michigan State is. You know what I mean?
Probably. It's probably similar on a lesser scale.
Because like I don't remember like South Carolina being great at basketball, but they've had a better history, I think, than in football.
Well,
right?
I think Michigan State's a really good comparison because they have enough history with a sport. So Michigan State, it's basketball, really long term. So North Carolina has, I mean, what other school has more history than North Carolina? Maybe Duke, there. So.
This is probably a stupid question, but they're not in the same conference, are they?
No, because North Carolina's ACC and South Carolina's SEC.
Okay. I wonder if they used to be.
SEC's first win in the Bulls at that point.
Yeah.
Was it?
Obviously, they did better later on. But
Sam Howell, future Lion, maybe.
Hey, maybe.
Mock Draft 1.0 coming up. Be part of the conversation. No, I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Thanks.
And you get to celebrate that guy. So Aaron.
Yeah.
He's getting married and his bachelor party. You guys are going to the Lions-Packers game?
We are, yeah.
That'll be
sweet. All those guys from the Carolinas are flying up here between Friday and Saturday. I got the day off of work Friday, so I'm going to do probably Friday through Monday.
Nice.
And just have a guys' weekend.
Very cool. Ryan and I did not have a good time on New Year's.
No.
Well, no.
Actually, it was one of the worst New Year's.
It really was. And even like, obviously, if they won, it would have been better. Yeah. But, like, just the fact that we sat on the couch and watched football.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It was very low energy,
It was just, it was.
Overall. Like, it ended well.
But it was good. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time. But
yeah, that was good. I hope everybody else had a good New Year's, and welcome to 2022 of State of My Sports, right? Like, this is year number
rock and roll, baby.
We started in 19, right? Like, it's not exactly like year 3, but, like, started in 19, and we went through 20. 21, so this is year 4.
The fourth
calendar year of the pod. We did start in 19, right? Yeah, we did.
I have no idea.
Holy smokes, that's crazy to
just
think
do
about.
the number of episodes
it's
divided
before
by
COVID.
52, right?
It's before COVID, so yeah.
138 if I'd count right. I mean, I don't know. You never know when I'm going to skip an episode, double up on an episode. It happens, but
who audits you? Nobody.
Anyways, let's get into some sports talk. I'm going to start with Michigan State's bowl victory. They beat Pitt 31-21 in the Peach Bowl. Kind of a strange game. Pitt, obviously Kenny Pickett out. They had to start with their number 2 guy. Second drive, I think. Their backup quarterback, number 2, second string quarterback.
Yeah, was it
got hurt?
First drive or
I thought
second
it was the
drive?
second, but I missed the first drive because the Purdue game was still on. But yeah, so then they were on the third string, and they finished. So the final score in the fourth quarter was 21-0 for Michigan State to finish up 31-21. So it was kind of a weird game. Both teams looked really bad. It was really, really bad football game. But Michigan State kind of made the plays that they had to. Thorne was 29-50, 50 throws. The running game was.
They didn't have a running game.
They did not have a running game.
And give Pitt some credit there too.
It's a very good defense.
Their defense is pretty legit. And their rush defense is definitely really, really good.
Yep.
They showed
it. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Naylor, 6 catches for 108 yards. Reed, 6 catches for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Did you guys see the breaking news that happened today? Naylor declared for the NFL.
Yeah.
And Reed didn't.
Is he going to?
No, he said he's coming back.
Reed is coming back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm shocked by that, first of all.
I am too, but now that you think through the process here, it does kind of make sense because his high school quarterback is Peyton Thorne. So if he wants to do something special, the two of them together, maybe he just wants one more year together with his quarterback and establish himself.
He's doing what Aiden did last year to this year.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Well, and Aiden last year was the first round draft pick. That's like, well, you might have a lot to lose here,
right?
But he bet on himself.
Yeah,
I think with Reed, I think he's way better than what people are slotting him in the draft right now.
Mm-hmm.
And his only way to go is up.
And he's going to show that next year. That's the whole point.
I think he will. Yeah,
I think he has the opportunity to, but I also think that he was. Okay, where was he going to be? Like a 4th round pick? Can he really go that much higher?
People have him in the 5th, 6th round.
Either you're a 4th round pick or like you don't see wide receivers make that type of jump. Either you're really good and people know it early on, or you're going to be that 4th round. Like there's still going to be just as many people jumping him, in my opinion, as freshmen or sophomores having their big junior year. You know what I mean? And jumping on the scene. I mean, look at Marvin Harrison Jr. All of a sudden, he's going to be a stud next year, right? Like, for Ohio State. So it's like guys that, I don't know, I feel like you're going to be a 4th-round pick either way. Go get your money.
Well, I hear you. Yeah, he might just feel like he needs to prove it. And if you're a player with confidence, and I think he's one of those kind of guys. You saw with the 2 touchdowns that he had. Like, he goes up and gets those balls. He's great at those 50-50.
I think I'm just mad because I wanted the Lions to take him in like the 4th round if he was there.
Exactly.
If we didn't take
a
wide receiver.
Like I was looking at even the 6th round and the possibility that he could be there still. So that was value that we're looking at because wide receiver you don't necessarily need to spend big, but
then you also look at what Naylor's doing. Like that's weird. That's a weird one. He's an athlete, but
man, he drops easy balls sometimes.
Yeah, he's not. Jaden Reed would get drafted before him if they're both in the draft.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure he's going to get drafted.
Naylor might go undrafted.
That's what's weird to me. It's like, man, unless he's got combine numbers that just blow everybody out of the water, which Speedy Naylor, he's got a brand and stuff, but man, I feel like he would have benefited going back more than Reed, in my opinion.
He's got to be in the 4.3s to really to live up to that name draft.
Is Naylor a junior, senior?
Junior.
Junior?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he had possibly 2 years left available. I think because he gets that COVID year.
Right.
So he could have come back. But anyways, it was a nice 11-win season for Tucker and MSU.
Well, I think what's weird about this game, because you did bring it up, it was weird. They didn't play well. They won. If you look at his stats with Peyton Thorne, 29 of 50, 354 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The stats don't look terrible. It's not a very high percentage, but it actually was way worse than what it shows.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, it was bizarre because all year I think Peyton Thorne has thrown one of the best balls in college football that I've seen. Just pure, smooth, good, tight spiral on it, and it was awful.
It was really bad and
so wobbly every time it came out of his hand, and it was like, where are you throwing this? His decision making was terrible. His arm slot looked weird, like way over the top and like just bizarre to me. And then the ball was I've never seen a worse spiral out of his hand.
It's insane. But then he also threw a couple absolute dimes.
Fourth quarter, his spiral was on point again.
Yeah, it was weird.
And he looked normal again. I don't know what was going on, but maybe it was the time off for him. I'm not sure.
Pitt's, like you said, Pitt, good defense. Great. They lead the country in sacks, I think they said in the middle of that game. If I remember correctly, I think they did.
Wow.
Wow.
So that was interesting. But Big Ten in general, they went 6-4. Ohio State with the big Rose Bowl win. That looks good for the conference. Do you guys look at the conference bowl standings like as a thing, or is it just kind of like
that's
it doesn't
for
matter?
people
There's a
who want
story
to have
between
an argument
for every game, right?
Yeah, that's the SEC versus Big Ten thing. I mean,
yeah,
and it's really those two conferences. Nobody else really cares too much.
No one really cares. Like where there's true competition and true hatred, OSU doesn't really care if Michigan won. They'd rather see Michigan lose every day.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
If it means money-wise, if the Big Ten can leverage more money if they do well in the TV contracts and all that stuff, but I mean, there's 2 conferences and then there's 2 other conferences, and that's the Big 4 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the two conferences are Big Ten and SEC. They're not really proving anything. 6-4, decent showing, really bad showing up top. So.
Yeah, no, I think we'll get into that here shortly. One more thing I didn't want to bring up before we get into our beer introductions was the Antonio Brown stuff. Did you guys see what happened there?
Man.
What is going on with that guy?
He's missing a chromosome.
He's missing something. This guy's got a screw loose.
Absolutely.
I cannot believe.
He's got to get therapy. Like, he's I don't think he's right mentally at all.
No, I agree. Now, everybody's pointing to CTE, and ever since the hit and by Perfect or whatever, it's like, I think that's I personally.
That's a maybe.
I
don't know.
Yeah,
I
think it's more of a drug issue probably that this dude's going through, or some kind of other mental issues. It's too bad to see it because that guy would probably be a Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
he still could be.
He still could be, but I don't think he's going to be.
He had a 5-year stretch that's unmatched in football for receiving. I mean, it was incredible what he did for 5 straight years. But you're right. I mean, I don't know what his Hall of Fame status would be at this point.
For the people that
he's still one of the best wide receivers in football. He's just so crazy if he's on the field, if he's
Yeah,
ready,
yeah.
if
He
he's
was
doing his thing.
He was leading the Bucks in receiving this
I
year
know.
before he got hurt and then suspended and stuff like that.
His talent is undeniable. I mean, if you take his shirt off, and he looks like
That dude is
he's jacked.
yeah.
He's ripped.
It's
Brian
insane.
talking about guys taking their shirts
Yeah,
off. What's up?
Just saying,
6
like New Year's
midnight.
resolution, guys. New Year's resolution. There's
I want that body.
yeah.
I'm not.
That's
I
a good
mean,
way of
on
looking
me.
at
I
it.
mean, I want to have those abs. Not his abs. I want his abs on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting weird.
Yeah, don't do that.
I can't have a way to describe it. This is bad. But anyways, for the people that missed it,
Indescribable.
the dude was on the sideline jawing with
It's
his
like Jeff
coach,
Cavalier, man.
and then he took his shirt off and his pads off and threw it in the stands, and then gave everybody deuces on the way out.
Yep.
Like what? It's interesting.
Did you see? I think it was the backup punter or the backup QB for the Bucs. Like he was caught in the background of when the camera was panning with AB walking through the end zone, and he just looks at AB, and then just proceeds just
Just
it was
keeps on
normal,
going.
like it was
Yeah.
normal.
AB being AB.
Just doing things.
Absolutely insane. We are going to get into our beer introduction, so let's strike that up. What are we drinking today? So we're going to change things up at least for a month. We're going to give this a shot. We're going to all drink the same beer, so we can kind of dig a little more into
We'll see how this
the
goes.
brewery, and then we can kind of compare our grades. So people, if like someone learns that they have a more taste like me, that if I'm giving high scores, they're going to like it. Or if Ryan's going to give it high scores, they're going to like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of get that kind of reputation going. Mike,
I like
I'm not
it.
including you because you're not drinking tonight.
I am not.
So,
That'll be me next week.
but can you tell us a little bit about the brewery that we are drinking from? You have that right there?
You're gonna
Oh.
honestly, you're gonna have more on the can than they have on their website.
Alright.
So, from Ascension Brewing, you guys are drinking a lager
Yes.
to the name of
Radio Taiso? Is that how you'd say it?
Yeah, Taiso.
Taiso? Taiso. So it's got a little karate guy. It actually reminds me of Parappa the
like
Rapper. Do you guys
Taiso.
remember Parappa the Rapper?
Oh yeah,
This,
I do.
This PlayStation video game?
Yeah, what a callback.
That's what that reminds me of a little bit. Great game, by the way. But yeah, so it's got like Chinese writing on it, so that's a little nerve-wracking.
It's a Japanese,
Huh.
not Chinese. It's a Japanese rice lager.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. It's Japanese. Is it Chinese or Japanese?
I just told you.
Yeah. So yeah, what is it?
It's a Japanese rice lager. It's brewed and packaged by Ascension Brewing Company. It's a 4.5% alcohol by volume, and man, it's got a really unique taste, doesn't it?
It does. It's very light,
But
decent flavor. Like it's
unique.
it is very
flavor,
unique,
especially
it's,
for a lager.
I don't think I've had a beer like this before. Honestly, it's very unique. I actually kind of like it to start.
I think I might actually give this a pretty good grade later.
I think I will too. Like, my first sip, I was like, oh, I don't know. But the more I sip on it, the more I'm like, it's actually pretty good.
If this is a rice lager, that means it's gluten free, then, right?
I have no idea. But
Okay.
isn't Bud Light technically a rice lager?
That's a good
I
question.
feel like it says it like on it. It's like
Really?
barley, rice, and like something else. It's like 3 ingredients or something. Like that's
Well,
what they
barley is different than rice. I mean, or barley rice would be a type
think
of
it was-
rice.
say. I think that might be what it. I don't know. I'm going off memory, and we never know.
you seem
we
like you
always
know
know
your
that
ingredients.
doesn't go very well.
I mean, I
for
know
me.
barley is a thing, and I know rice is a thing.
Anyways.
I don't know if barley rice is a thing.
You can find them on Facebook, Ascension Beer, or on their Instagram at Ascension Brew Co. And they are in Novi, Michigan, on Grand River Avenue. And they got a little map on their can there, so keep an eye out for.
They have indoor seating. It's limited to an hour and a half. It looks like they have trivia on Tuesdays.
So they're still living in 2020.
Teams of
with
5 or
limited
less.
hours and stuff.
Yeah, teams of 5 or less, and they also accept reservations for parties of 6 or less.
I drove right by this place.
Did
you? Yeah, like last month when I was on the east side.
I like Novi. Every time I go
It's a
through Novi,
nice
I'm like,
place.
I'm so close to the arena. I'm so close to Detroit. It's like that's when I'm like, all right, traffic's gonna suck, but I'm close.
You like,
Like, that's when it
Rochester too, or
first-
no?
I like Rochester. I usually don't go through Rochester though on the way to Detroit. Do you?
Yeah, no, you got to take 75 to go through
Yeah.
Rochester. But
I like Rochester. I actually had a hockey tournament there when I was coaching the young guys. We had a really good. That's where the mall is, right? That big mall.
yeah,
Yeah. Me and Trav had
Great Lakes.
Me and Trav had a couple stories from that place, man. It's pretty funny. So we rode a bowl at, I think it was Toby Keith's bar. That sound right?
You
I think
did
he had a
what,
bar
roll?
there. There was a bowl there.
Okay.
Oh, rode a
I was
bowl.
thinking smoky.
Sorry.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
one of those mechanical
I
bowls.
thought you said bowl.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
We don't ride
Me
the
too.
bowl. Well, we're talking about bowl games, talking about riding bowls. So, I don't know.
Got it.
They should have a riding the bowl.
How'd you fare on the bowl?
Not well.
Did you
But
get
I
a
was
second or two?
I was a few RBV deep, so. But basically the story of there was a snowstorm, and we were trying to find our hotel, which was like in the same area, and we left this bar. We ended up walking on the highway in the middle of this snowstorm.
Oh,
We
my
could not
goodness.
find our way off it. We jumped one fence, and we ended up like there was no cars because the snowstorm was that bad, and we're like walking, and it's like, why is there an exit sign? Like,
What year?
this was.
Holy cow.
I don't remember what
Give
year
me a
this
year.
was.
Give me a year. Can you?
I
get
would
there?
say 2015, 14 or 15.
Okay.
Ryan's like, I did see someone on the side of the freeway.
Well, yeah. I just wanted to know if you caused me to hit that deer. Or not.
The deer was walking next to us.
Oh, it was the deer. Okay,
you would have hit
got it.
us, not the deer.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
We got to talk about
Here we go.
Michigan. But before we get into this awesome topic of episode 138, I want to remind everyone that the Hops Brewing Company and Cafe is open and pouring some of the best craft beer in West Michigan. The revamped food menu, rotating taps, wine, and ciders make the hops perfect for whatever you have going on, from late night drinks with friends, dinner with the family, and everything in between. The Hops is becoming a staple in the West Michigan restaurant community that we highly recommend to our friends and listeners. Taco Tuesday is back. It's actually closed today. If you were on their social media, you could see that they were closed today. They apologize for that. But they will be back open tomorrow for Stein Night, and then Taco Tuesday next week. So be ready for that. You can have a taco for $2.50 and pair it with their seltzer.
Are we recording there next week?
Yes, we are.
I think we are, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. And you guys aren't drinking, so
Taco Tuesday.
I'm gonna have a great time. You guys can't eat tacos either. That's what you're fasting, right?
I'll start next week Wednesday. I kind of.
You guys can't do that to me.
I really want Taco Tuesday, so I think I'm going to delay this by a week just for that.
And we'll make sure we try the chili one. We got to try the chili one.
Yeah. that'll
So
be a
the
great-
Hops, if you're listening,
Yeah.
chili is on the menu for us next week. You can match their tacos that are $2.50 a piece with their margarita seltzer for only $3. The Hops is the official brewery of State of My Sports, and if you mention State of My Sports, you get a nice little discount off your first beer. Michigan was absolutely dominated in the 2-3 matchup in the playoffs against the SEC's Georgia Bulldogs. They were outscored 27-3 in the first half, and when Georgia called off the Dogs in the second half, the game ended at 34-11. Man, it was. I'm gonna
It's tough to have
admit
words.
I was wrong. I was wrong on all facets. I really thought Michigan was the better team, and then that coin toss when you see how massive of human beings they had compared to us, and that was just the coin toss.
They did that on
3 on
purpose.
3. It was like
They did it on purpose. Absolutely.
eye-opening. It was absolutely insane, and they, from there on out, they absolutely pushed us around like we were the little kids at the playoff, and we were. I feel like that's what we were shown. I mean, it really just got kicked off, and they had a 7-play touchdown drive for Georgia. Michigan had a decent drive going. They got to the Georgia's 41, had the 4th and 4, and they failed to get it. The 4 yards is like I'm okay with being aggressive in that scenario, especially where you're at in the field. But it seemed like too many yards to make that call there, and that was like it felt like a panic mode before you needed to, and the little momentum you gained on that pretty decent drive that they had going, a couple first downs. What did you guys think about that call? I don't want to say like, oh, you make the right call, we would have won this game. I'm going to say a lot of things that we talk about. It doesn't mean that it changed the game. It's just things that we think are worth bringing up.
Well, the reality
that
is
change the landscape of a football game.
Well, exactly, absolutely, and this is so early on in the game that it could have a massive swing in momentum at that point in the game, right? And so if they would have, let's just play the game. If we would have picked up the 4th and 4, and went to score a touchdown, the game looks and feels a lot differently 7-7 versus a quick 14-0 turnaround.
Yeah, so
right?
then they had the 6-play touchdown drive to go up 14-0, and your back's against the wall even more. You're going out of your game. You have like let's assume Michigan had the perfect game plan. That wouldn't have mattered. That didn't matter from then on because you are not part of your game plan.
That's not true.
The second, what do you mean?
I don't think it's true at all that it doesn't matter. It absolutely
I guess,
matters.
What do you? I guess what did I say that you're questioning?
I don't know.
Did I say it wrong? I might have said it wrong. That might have been.
If they had a perfect game plan, things could have been different. So I think what Georgia did, what they exposed from drive number 1, is you saw all those little short passes out to the edge and pick up. That was their run game. That was their 6-7 yard gain at the beginning of every drive. That was their first down. It made everything else easy, and it was a perfect drive. They executed absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
And what we learned at the end of the game, and maybe I'm just jumping the gun, but Stetson Bennett actually did that on his own a lot because that's what the defense gave him. So those were supposed to be handoffs. Those were supposed to be running plays that he just turned and threw to his wide receiver because it was an easy 7 yards.
Okay.
So I think execution-wise and game plan-wise actually had a lot to do with that first drive and the success and just the tone of the whole game. If Stetson Bennett doesn't make those calls and Michigan sold out on the run defense, which they clearly did, and they would have made those plays, you're looking at getting the ball back at halftime and stopping them in the first drive, and it just feels different.
Yeah, no,
right?
I agree. And I'm not saying when we were down 14-0, Michigan, it didn't matter from that point because I feel like you can find a way to come back, but then you start going away from what you wanted to do. And
100%.
and that's where I think the issue was where you – and look, I
you're
think
right. You're right
we've
about
really liked the way Harbaugh's been aggressive. 4th and 2s, 4th and 1s, when they just grab their you-know-whats and push these guys around. 4th and 4 is a completely different scenario. Now, I think they probably could have got it. It was actually a pretty good route, pretty good play. If I remember thinking right, it was Eric All, right? On the left side, it was Schoonmaker. Okay. Either way, it was a tight end going towards the sideline. Not a great throw, close enough. It was kind of like that. Or am I thinking of a different play? I guess it doesn't matter. The bottom line is I don't hate the call because I think that's something that Michigan has built this year around is being aggressive, and I'm okay with sticking to that. It just felt like it was for the wrong reasons this time. It wasn't a way to be like, we're going to set the tone. It was more or less like, man, the way you guys just did that to us, if we don't put any points on this board and punt it and you guys go score against us, that could really suck, being down 14-0 like that. And it felt more like a panic call rather than an aggressive call, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not saying that our coaches are not well seasoned, but I think they got a harsh reality check quickly on how fast, physical, and the size difference between the two teams. I think that's what caused some sort of panic. They had to react and think differently. Even though they may have had a good game plan, they were getting dominated in the trenches, an area where Michigan has been dominant all year long. So I think naturally, as a human being, they thought, holy crap, this is not working right now, and it's not going to work.
Guys,
I think that's my point, is that call was not we're doing what we would have done no matter what. It was like it was a reactionary call rather than this is what we're doing.
Quite possibly.
If they had in their head that they were going to have a 4th and 4 on the first drive from the 41, throw everything else out the window. Like I think more times than not they'd be like, no, we're going to punt that ball. We're going to make that offense move the ball against us. Heading into that game, and the way that first drive went defensively, they're like, holy mother effer, we can't punt this ball back and let this game get away from us.
Right.
And it felt like a more reactionary call. Look, again, in the moment, I was excited. I got off the couch. I was ready to call, and I was like, good for these guys. But the way that the game panned out, it felt more like a panic mode rather than, I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying. I don't need to keep repeating it. But did you guys like the call?
Man.
Did you like going for it in that scenario? Because I didn't for the most part. I think I said punt the ball, and then when they're lining up, I'm like, okay, here we go. Like it was kind of like, You know what I mean? Like,
I sat on the couch and I said, "Go for it."
Me too.
I don't think I did.
And we were far enough.
And I'm not saying
No,
I'm right. I'm
at the time, it was like, well, this is obviously the field position that you would go for something like this. It's either going to be a long field goal that you don't feel really confident about, or it's going to be just kind of a momentum swing, giving up kind of feeling of a punt, which maybe that's not true because you can pin them. But the way they move the ball, my goodness.
And let's be honest, if I'm calling for being passive here and punting it, and if they punted it instead of it landing inside the 10 and went into the back of the end zone and it ended up at the 20 and that was a 21-yard gain, I would have been furious.
It wasn't even. It would have been like a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, okay. It would have been the 20, right?
They were at like the 35.
They were at the 41. They were at Georgia's 41 when they went for it.
I thought it was the other way because Cook had that long run after that coming back the other way. But
it doesn't matter. Anyways, it was they went through it.
I'm okay with it because that matched what they did the whole year. They were aggressive, especially early on in football games. They went for so many fourth quarter plays, and they actually or fourth down plays, and they actually got stopped on quite a few of them during the season too.
Yeah,
like
they did.
They failed on some of those, and then what did they do? Their defense came back and responded. I think the sucker punch to the gut feeling came when Georgia then pulled their own trickery that Michigan has done such a great job in recent weeks scoring.
You took the words out of my mouth.
They pulled the little rushing end around. Just kidding. Perfect pass.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Donovan Edwards.
Yeah.
It was the exact same play.
And even worse than that, number 4, frick. Defensive back, number 4.
Hawkins?
No.
Vincent Gray.
Vincent Gray didn't even bite on the rushing attempt. He just got that beat out in the field. And it was like a double sucker punch because they did it in a way that Michigan has been dominating other teams with the trick play and the creativity on offense. And then they also didn't even trick the cornerback. They just beat him that badly. Double move.
Yep.
Yeah, so Michigan was down 17-0 early in the second quarter with a handful of first downs and just getting pushed around on both sides of the ball. And right there, I mean, I don't want to say that's game because you still have the opportunity, but then when you combine that to shooting yourselves in the foot, there was a bad pass interference miss, but, I mean, we're not finishing routes. We had guys stopping mid-route, throwing interception. We had guys stopping, chasing a guy downfield, literally stopping like a Madden glitch. Stopping and then letting the guy just keep going. It was the oddest thing, and there was confusion on defense from the very first get-go. It was a perfectly executed offensive game plan from Georgia, not to mention outsized us, out-talented us, out-coached us. They beat us from the second that game started till the very end of that game. And, look, I think as a Michigan fan, you have that little bit of hope of, if you didn't fall behind what could have been, man, I don't see that being an argument at this point.
I do 100%, except here's where I'll give the credit. I give the credit to the coaches of Georgia because they went all in on Stetson Bennett here. And the execution that Stetson Bennett pulled off in the game, I'm telling you, his decision-making was perfect. His decision-making was incredible. And every single one of those throws out to the side, those were rushing attempts that he just decided to throw. Because it was an easy call. So what did Michigan do? They knew what we knew. Michigan sold out on the run to stop the run early, and every time they loaded the box and their corners gave them cushion, played off just to be safe and not get beat over the top. That's when Georgia just beat him by just turning, catching the ball, and getting an easy 7.
Like Brock Bowers?
Yeah.
We had no answer for him?
Right.
Why?
Well, I mean, he only had 5 catches for 55 yards. They were just crucial times.
It was early.
Right.
It was the 2. It was 2 catches in the first drive. But that's what I'm saying, guys. It's very simple, but yet it was perfect. It was perfect execution, and it's not necessarily a dominance. Like you couldn't even see if Hutchinson was not included in that game at all. Ajabo had no impact at all. So what did they do? They got the ball out of his hands so quickly, they didn't even give him the chance to rush the passer. They didn't. And then they were up from the beginning, so you didn't know. They were also unpredictable at that point. Michigan, from 4 minutes left in the first quarter, when they got down 14-0, their offense became predictable. They were in catch-up mode. They were in pass first. Georgia could just load the front line and confuse them as much as possible. And guess what? They were pass rushing from all 4 positions on that defensive line. They weren't selling out to stop the run at all. They didn't need to. It was a predictable game at that point.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And that was 4 minutes left in the first quarter. That's the way football works. The dominance is one bad execution away from swinging the other way. Stetson Bennett was perfect. We could have had an interception. What you're saying, the glitch down the sideline?
That should have been an interception.
That should have been an interception. That
It's
was
a
not
bad throw.
That was not a good decision. We were in perfect position down the sideline. He stopped running.
It's unbelievable.
Harbaugh said he got lost in the lights. No, he just didn't know.
He
And
stopped.
He had a brain freeze.
And I'd be curious if he was on Georgia's sideline, if someone was there with a whistle. Yeah.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like, just,
he had the same. We had the same reaction.
it's
on
actually
offense.
a really good idea.
We had the same reaction on
Not a
offense
bad idea.
for the interception in the end zone.
Yeah.
There's no reason for Dalen Baldwin to
Just
stop mid route, but he did. So when have we seen that with Michigan? Not all year.
It was weird. It was very weird to see, and
They panicked.
they did.
And let's be honest, when they got down 7-0 to start the game, that was the largest deficit Michigan's faced all year.
Insane.
Right there.
Yep.
4 points was the largest deficit before that?
I think it was, yeah. And that was to Michigan State, and we were leading that whole game until they scored that 4 points.
Like that is nuts. So
seal the deal, basically.
So the point is, I guess, it was not as big a gap as I think it showed. And yes, did they get dominated? Yeah, of course they got dominated. But we were a few fluke plays away from making this a decently close football game where you're one play away, where somebody can step up, where you can get a strip sack, where you can get the interception over the middle. And we were never in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through some of the numbers here just for the fun of it. Cade McNamara was 11 of 19, 106 yards. He had the 2 interceptions. I didn't think either of them were really his fault. J.J. McCarthy, 7 of 17, 131 with 1 touchdown when they made that change. Haskins, 9 carries, 39 yards. Not bad. I noticed that he wasn't getting a lot of early touches, and that was interesting. I'm okay with it. But you look at the rushing yards and the rushing attempts. So 9 of 39, 4.3 average for Haskins. Donovan Edwards, 4 for 16, 4-point average. Corum, 3 for 10, 3.3 average. It's not like it wasn't like they were just dominating necessarily up front, because we were getting moves, especially on that first drive. It was a pretty good drive for the most part. Just a couple missed throws that really set them back and put them in a tough spot before the 4th and 4. But like, they just had to go away from it. They couldn't, like Ryan, you were saying, like, it became predictable because they're in catch-up mode, and they can't be catch-up mode running the ball. At least that's a perception. They may have been able to keep it going. I don't know if they didn't fold away from it, but the way the defense was playing, you knew that it was I mean, you had to score and score quick.
Yeah. What I think showed, and it's not like Georgia's defensive line got to our quarterbacks very quickly, but the combination of the coverage sack and the power that Georgia used to just go through our offensive linemen, they seemed to be in a good position pretty often in front of their guy, and then they just got overpowered eventually. Yeah. And because again we were in that passing mode, they went after the quarterback. They weren't just sitting there playing a 2-gap read. They were just going through their guys and choosing one gap and going for it. That's how you make a difference.
Yeah, and really, like, I don't want to. So we were down 17-3 at half, right? I want to say, and
no, half.
I'm pretty sure 17, or was it 27-3? I think it was 27-3. But like, there was a time where Michigan was getting the ball in the second half, and that interception, that crazy miss pass interference where he basically tackled our guy. Our guy kind of stopped too, and it just landed in the guy's arms. It was like, that was
messed up.
Interesting. I'm not saying you're going to come back from down 27-3, but if you get a touchdown then that drive, get a touchdown to start the second half, it's a completely different ballgame. It's not.
Yeah, we were playing the
as
numbers game at that point.
Yeah. Which, I mean, being Michigan fans, of course, we're going to be like, well, if you did this here, but I don't know. It was frustrating, and I think for me the biggest thing was, I hate saying this because I think it's the easy argument, is like we were playing with house money. We kind of talked about that We didn't want that to be the case, like the feeling heading into that game, because we thought we could win. We expected to win, and just sucks losing. But at the same time, that is an incredible season from what we saw. What we were expecting, what everybody was telling us this was going to be, it was something to hang your hat on. It really was. This was the best team in 25 years that we've had, I would say. Maybe. I think we've had a couple good ones in there. I don't want to go through the argument, this year was better than that year. Yeah. This was one of the best teams in 25 years.
The best teams.
It still feels like we are so far away from that level of football. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Ryan, like that a couple things there, execution-wise, changes the landscape of that game. You're not as bad as you saw, but you just had your best team in, let's say, 25 years that we've had, and got wiped. You got the floor wiped with your, it was disgusting to watch. That's discouraging.
Here's the emotional swing of it. You're absolutely correct. This is the best Michigan team in really since 97. I think.
Yeah, 25
right?
years. I think that's where it lined up.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the best team, and arguably the only arguable teams besides that would be your Chad Henne teams, right, and your Mike Hart teams. Maybe one of those, I don't know, Braylon Edwards, maybe 1 year. But either way, this is at the top. And not only that, but they were the saviors. They were the ones who brought the program back where we all feel like it should be.
Yep.
Which there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of highs, and the roller coaster is a real thing. You're talking about college athletes that went from being dogs and nobody believed in them. They're the ones that, are, I guess, the overcomers the entire year. And then they do it and they succeed and they're riding that high. And then the very next week after beating Ohio State, when everybody's super pumped and the whole state is on fire for them, the whole nation's watching them, then they go dominate Iowa, and then they have a long time to think about how good they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm just going to say I think in that mindset, it's easier to be the underdog. It's easier to come off the loss and say, okay, now we know what we need to work on. Now we're motivated, like we want to prove ourselves again, versus trying to balance like all of the talk about history and the perfection and everything else that everybody was talking to these kids about for a long time, and they're kids. So it's just tough. Like, do they need to be able to overcome that? Yeah, and I think next year it would be easier for a Michigan team to overcome that because they've been there, done that. And they're not riding the emotional high so much because they've been there, they've done it, and they can expect it a little bit more. They don't have to answer the historic 25-year type questions.
Yeah, so I think that's what I really want this to turn into now is kind of Michigan moving forward. I think this is an incredible season, a lot to hang your hat on. Unfortunately, as fans, for the players that just busted their butt for however many weeks and deserve a lot of praise, we've moved on. We're done with that team. We need to talk about this team as a program now. How do you build on it? And I sit here and wonder, was this season the anomaly, or is this a turning point for this program?
It's a good question.
I've talked about it heading into, what did I say, 3 calendar years now we've done this. This is getting into 4. I've talked about on this podcast for a long time that Michigan is not going to be an Ohio State. They are not going to be Alabama in my head. That's not – I'm not – all right. That's not what they have been ever in this ever. For the Michigan fans that think that that's what this team has been and we need to get back to that, you're wrong. We've never been that. We've had good seasons. We've talked about that enough.
The 10-3.
A college dynasty, no.
Exactly. It's not what we are. And that's where I'm like, okay, is this a turning point where we can do that? Or did we miss out on the only opportunity we're going to have for the next 10 years? You know what I mean? And how do we avoid that from being the anomaly? Because I still sit back and be like, we're probably going to lose to Ohio State 2 out of the next 8 years. I mean, I think that's a safe assumption,
5?
Right? Like, I mean, that's
2 out of the next 8.
I mean, that's a fair.
Lose to them 2 out of the next 8. I'd love
sorry. I guess we would. I said
beat
that wrong.
them.
Yeah,
Okay.
beat them 2 out of the next 8.
Got it.
Seasons. Maybe that would be awesome.
Oh
like, you know what I mean?
Well,
and that's where it's a little nerve wracking. Is like, this their ceiling? Is this?
No, I'm ready to change my expectations for the team. Why
Are you?
not? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Why did this team turn around the way they did?
And that's the concerning thing for me. Is it was everything adding together with defensive leadership and the way that they built this defense. And I don't want to give the
and
offense.
they set the expectation again.
I know, but when you're not getting the recruiting class, what was the number that they talked about pre-game before Michigan was getting their butt whooped? They were talking about, what is it? 5 stars was like, I think Georgia had
right here.
15. Michigan had
Georgia
3.
has 17.
17
Michigan
5 stars.
has 2.
Michigan has 2. And we're talking about recruiting classes. Georgia's been averaged number 1 the last 3 or 4 years in recruiting.
Yeah, it shows,
That's
doesn't it?
that's what showed us. And Michigan was what? Average 12th overall, I think, in the last the key players on this team.
Yeah, and look at all the swing commits we got at the very last second because of our season.
And you do realize like how good those 4 stars feel when you can't get all those 5s. You're not going to really settle for that many 3s. Michigan is solidly sitting with 39 4 stars, but Alabama, on top of their 11 5 stars, they have 64 stars. And Georgia, on top of their 17 5 stars, have 49 4 stars.
And that's where I just look at this. That's where I just look at this. I'm like, we're spinning our wheels if this is what we're going to compete with year in and year out. And that's not even to bring in Ohio State, who's somewhere in between the Georgias, Alabamas. I mean, who's having a good year now. The Texas A&M now.
Right.
And then you got Ohio State and then Michigan. Like we are far from it, and something else needs to change if we want to not let this happen again.
I 100% disagree, and I understand and I agree where you're coming from, I guess, as far as recruiting goes. We are not the elite of the elite. That's reserved for Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, and suddenly Texas A&M. But really, really a very small – and Clemson, right? Those are the
Clemson,
small schools.
Yeah, I should have brought them in.
Yeah, and that's what they do year in, year out.
Now –
I get that that's I guess the talent gap. Out of the rest of the group, I think if we can stay in that 5 to 10 range within recruiting every single year, I think we can compete at a national level every single time the top, because there is such a thing as a transfer portal, and those teams that will lose players, and they do every single year, they lose 5 stars every single year. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to the successful programs with the young coaches who promise certain things, and Michigan does some things really, really well. Look at the center we just got from Virginia Tech.
But that is not a transfer portal guy. That is a grad transfer.
Grad transfer, yeah.
And I could be wrong.
The more of
when
a
was
destination.
the last time Michigan got a 5-star transfer portal guy? They can't. Why? Because they can't. Their credits don't transfer to Michigan. And that's where it's like, look, I'm not saying you'll never be able to. You can find a way to make it happen if Michigan wants to. NIL money. They're way behind the ball with NIL. They're way behind in the transfer portal and utilizing it and letting their expectations get pushed down to benefit the football team. I just look at it, I'm like, this was our best team in 25 years, and we are so far away from the 1 and 2 spot. Don't get me wrong. I love being number 3. I love being right where I'm at. It just feels so far away.
I disagree 100%. Again, I think Georgia is overall the best team. They got beat by Nick Saban, right? I mean, they got beat by an Alabama team that is just they're just tough to deal with.
And I think that's the answer for Michigan here.
No, but the answer for Michigan is if they had a quarterback that was did amazing things. If JJ was not a freshman, let's just say he's a junior. And he's going to be a top draft pick, and we can rely on him to make every single great decision.
Okay.
I think we're a quarterback decision maker away from being the national champions.
I don't disagree.
This year with this talent.
I don't disagree with you that is a key part. That's how, if Michigan's going to compete, it's going to start on the offense side of the ball. And we talked about the defense, and I think that's important. That's how you win the Big Ten. That's how you do what you did to Ohio State. That's not what you do to beat top SEC teams. You need to have a threat offensively just as good as your defense.
These skill players that we have are good enough to be national champions.
We're just getting to the bread and butter of it.
The JJK, right?
No, not JJK. I'm saying the guys that are going to lead this offense. We're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with these guys. It's exactly what we're seeing. If you think that the offense is going to get worse next year, I think you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
No, I don't think our offense is going
No,
to get
and
worse.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying it. Just talking
Haskins had a special year, but we have all the rest of the guys coming back.
and a lot of weapons coming back. You have a lot of wideouts that have a lot of high upside,
Big time.
big time. And you got a lot of freshmen that are going to be vying for playing time. This is going to get pretty cutthroat pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to come down to the defensive side of the ball. Like you said, there's going to have to be leadership roles taken on. I don't know who takes the reins. That's for next year. I don't know.
Yeah, there's gaps going into next year, but I think the point overall is if this is our stepping stone, if this is our launch into national relevance again, then I'll take it every day of the week, number one. And I don't think the game is representative of how closely these two teams are matched. After the first two drives, it was not, again, two fluke plays away from just being a normal game or an evenly matched, very.
I guess I don't even just look at it as Michigan against Georgia. I go back to Michigan State against Alabama. I go back to Ohio State against Alabama. And I know they had their championship and stuff, but like it's a different level. And I know we get in that argument a lot with some friends of ours, like the SEC, it means more. I think it's so high upside that my argument is it's so high upside that they water down the middle and they make them feel better than they actually are. I think the middle of the SEC's nowhere nearly as good as the middle of Michigan. The Big Ten, but the upside is just there, and that's what people care about.
Confidence is a real thing. Expectations are a real thing. What Saban has built there
that's a completely different.
I mean,
animal.
every single year they expect to win a national championship. That is unique. That's something we haven't seen before. Every single year, Ohio State expects to win the Big Ten. That's unique. We haven't seen that before. We've seen decades of dominance. We haven't seen 2 decades of dominance in the Big Ten.
It's crazy.
So I do want to move on from the Michigan conversation, but I do have one more thing that I think we got to talk about is Harbaugh. The rumors are that there's mutual interest between the Raiders and Harbaugh. Look, this happens every time. I don't want to. This one feels different to me, and it's probably my own personal feelings. Is I feel like Harbaugh's like, I did it. Well, there's no way I can do this. There's no way I can bring it to the next level. And I know that I'm sure Harbaugh doesn't think that way. These guys think they can do whatever, but I could also see him being like, I did what I came back to do. I proved the haters wrong. I proved the Trav Nichols of the world wrong. I proved Sam right, and I feel good about that.
Harbaugh, you're saying? Feels good about
Harbaugh
that?
feels good that he proved me right, that he can do this. But it's like, man, again, I look at it as still so far away. It feels like if he's going to leave, this is the time, especially with the relationship that they have with the Raiders and that family. By that, I mean the family of the Harbaugh family. He's the 32nd highest paid coach in the country. He needs a new deal, or he's going to walk. And I don't know if it's leverage. I don't know. I don't know what is going on. Where are you guys at with Harbaugh? Can Harbaugh bring us that Georgia level? Or is this kind of the tip of the iceberg with a Harbaugh until he's willing to throw out the Stanford type offense, the offense that's made him successful all the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Saban really started winning was when he was like, all right, I need to bring in offense too. I got to get the best quarterback along with my best defense. Otherwise, I'm going to lose every other year. And instead, I want to win every year. You know what I mean? Not that he does, but you know what I mean? He changed his way to fit college football. Is Harbaugh willing to do that? I think JJ's that guy.
Yeah, I do too.
But I feel like this is a great opportunity for him to just be like, this is an easy way to break up. Otherwise, if I stay, it could be another 3 to 5 years losing at Ohio State and it end bad again.
Well,
like it would have ended last year.
Number one, it would shock me if he left. I don't expect him to leave. I think if you watch any of his press conferences where he's talking about the team, he's rejuvenated this year. He feels like he's got all the energy in the world now. He lost a whole bunch of weight, signed a whole bunch of young coaches. Like that seems weird to change all of that. Get JJ, feel good about the whole future of the of your team with your quarterback situation. And he's loving his quarterback situation right now between the two of them. He says we make no apologies for having two great quarterbacks. That's his words. So it would absolutely shock me if he left. I understand the rumors. I get what people say. They say it every year. It just seems like the worst time for him to leave. The only way I could see that is if he really had that crazy connection with Aiden Hutchinson, and that was like the two of them wanted to go out together. Yeah,
and that's possible.
Is it possible? Is it possible? Absolutely. I don't expect it. He seems super loyal, and he seems like, man, it's like great to be a Michigan Wolverine.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I'm just a little concerned.
Michael, what do you think?
I think the rumors, like year after year, you have your feeling, your opinion, you have yours. I don't see it. Every single year, there's some sort of haters or someone on the outside looking in going, yeah, I think Harbaugh's going to leave, and I'm going.
So is it leverage for a new deal?
Every single time.
So he can
is it just leverage for a new deal?
Work with Derek Carr. No, he just gave away all of his bonus money to the rest of his staff that he felt like
he needs
they
a
needed.
new deal, right?
Yeah, he'll get a new deal. He just earned a new deal. He knows
does.
the long game. He just made himself a legend, not only to Michigan fans, but he made himself a legend within the sports, the athletics department. The entire athletics department, they just made a whole bunch of extra money because he gave away his bonuses. He just became everybody's favorite person on campus. So why would he do that and then we expect him to leave? No, he's just getting started.
Time will tell.
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
So the Lions lost to the Seahawks 51-29. It was ugly. Very, very ugly. Tim Boyle started 22-37, 262, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. DeAndre Swift was back, 32 yards on 4 carries. Amon-Ra St. Brown had another good game. He had 2 carries, one really cool, really nice rushing touchdown. He had 23 yards total on the ground, but he also had 8 more catches, 111 more yards, and another touchdown through the air. This guy's becoming...
He's good, isn't he?
This guy is becoming a steal when it comes to the 4th round. Or 4th round that we got him in.
Yeah, 4th round.
Love it. Defense looked very bad. Almost gave up 500 yards to a bad Seahawks team. 265 rushing yards on the ground for the Seahawks. They averaged 7 yards per play. It was ugly. It was 71 total plays to 59. It was one of those games that's like,
it was incredible.
Let's turn this one off a little early.
Oh, we turned it off.
Yeah.
Ari and I were watching together.
It was just like,
and we both decided we're turning this thing off.
Yeah,
it's halftime. No.
Yeah, it was ugly. It was just kind of. I think I was playing Mini 6 and kept it on, but like I was just playing with the kids while playing or watching it. But it was ugly. But on the bright side, they didn't get the win. They've solidified number 2 overall pick. Yeah, if the Jags win somehow against the Colts,
could be one.
We would be 1. But basically, you can't fall any farther than that. And I think that's really important. We talked about that, how we were okay with falling out of the top 1st overall pick. And I think with everything going on right now, it's even more okay because it's sounding like the Jags will get their offensive lineman to protect.
They definitely could.
Oh my gosh, the long-haired dude for
Trevor
Lawrence, and kind of solidify it that way. And Michigan will still get their pick between Thibodeau and Hutchinson. And I think that's what people are expecting. That's what they wanted, at least this time 2 weeks ago. Or last week, I should say.
Well, it's a win-win, right? You're going to get one of the 2 best prospects, which are debatable who's number 1.
Yeah.
And if the Jags go offensive lineman, which I think for them, for their franchise, they really should. They should protect their guy. And Evan Neal's a really good one. So if they go that route, you still have you're basically not changing who you're going to get in the 1st round. Now, does it change all the rest of the rounds like we talk about? Yeah, it does. Long term, you're going to be losing 1 draft slot through the entire draft for every round, but at that point we're just talking about
really
1.
not that bad.
It's not like we're jumping from 1 to 6 overall.
Yep, exactly.
Elite draft position.
I did want to go back to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I saw this stat and I thought it was really interesting. It said here are the 5 wide receivers taken immediately before Amon-Ra St. Brown in last year's draft: Damani Brown, Amari Rogers, Nico Collins, Anthony Schwartz, Dez Fitzpatrick. They've combined for 59 catches, 755 yards, and 3 touchdowns this season.
Who? Dez Fitzpatrick?
Something like that. Yeah, that's what it says. And Dez is D-E-S, not D-E-Z.
Des?
Yeah, Des.
Des.
Yeah. Des Fitzpatrick.
Is it a Florida State guy?
I have no idea. The 18 wide receivers taken after him have combined for 43 catches, 491 yards, and 1 touchdown. St. Brown has 82 catches, 803 yards, and 4 touchdowns by himself.
Wow.
The catches is the thing that's eye-opening. Look, when you're a part of a bad offense with no weapons, someone's got to get the catches, right?
Yep.
But the way he's doing it, it's sustainable. It's something to get excited about. And when you use a 4th-round pick on a guy that you're seeing results and you can see long-term results, that's when you're going to start building a true team. It's not about getting, let's just say, the Aiden Hutchinson's in the top 2 pick. It's not getting the game-changing Chris Olave in a top 10 or something like that. Yeah, they're important, but it's getting guys that fell in the draft for whatever reason and getting results from them. That is the key. Brad Holmes, first draft, it's looking good in that way. We're seeing good things.
You can find good players all over the draft. You can find good players.
And good teams do.
And
Successful teams do. That's where it is. It's not about the top picks. I mean, look at they're all in this.
How many second rounders did the Lions mess up? We went over that, right? I mean,
so many.
So many first rounders that we messed up. But talk about the second rounders. There's like hardly any successful second rounders in Lions' recent history, and it's incredible the misses that they've had. And they've had a random 3rd or 6th or something round pick work out, but man, they've missed early on. But this year, all of these guys in the draft have contributed to the team.
They have, yeah.
They've contributed.
Undrafted free agents have too, which is awesome.
Yep.
But like going back to the game, it was ugly. It wasn't fun. I feel like this was the first time in a long time that I was just like, I'm okay with it. Like I'm okay with where we're at. I'm okay with not watching. I'm okay with not caring about what happens. I am focused on the draft. I'm focused on mock draft 1.0.
Oh, yeah.
Pick is in.
So here we are.
Oh, pumped.
I found a mock draft, and we're going to make the first 3 picks for the Lions. You guys good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I mean,
I was
time.
looking at my paper. I'm like, it says it. Where is everything?
I got it.
Mr. Sam.
You guys can't have
He's
it.
got it.
All right. So, the Jags are on the clock with the first overall pick, and they select Evan Neal, offensive lineman from Alabama.
I like it.
So, like we talked about earlier, Thibodeau and Hutchinson are still available. You got Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame. Pickett, allegedly the best quarterback in the draft.
I'll pass.
Got Nakobe Dean, the linebacker out of Georgia.
Man, he looks good. Underrated. Out of all of them from Georgia, I would say he surprised me the most. He stood out.
Mike, I understand if you don't want to make a pick for the Lions. Okay? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm all about it.
All right. So I'm not going to have you guys make your pick yet. What I want you to do is write down who you would take. This mock draft has Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Kyle Hamilton, Pickett, Nakobe Dean. One of those guys were selected at number 2 overall for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go through just a couple names here that I thought were interesting. I'm about to say 2 names that weren't on this list but anyways, as long as you guys have your guy picked out, we can keep moving. You guys ready? You guys have your pick?
It's such a hard pick.
And number 2 overall. All right. Sounds good. We'll move down. Couple interesting names that happened. David Ajabo. He went to the Ravens at 16. Jameson Williams, the wide receiver out of Alabama. He actually went to 15 to the Saints.
Okay.
You got Chris Olave, 19 to the Eagles.
Good pairing there.
Eagles also took Roger McCreary, cornerback out of Auburn. Moved down.
Why would the Eagles take another wideout?
I know. I find that a little weird
Why?
too. I feel like they need to solidify offensive line more than anything, personally.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
Cowboys, they select another linebacker. They took Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah at 27.
Devin Lloyd. Okay. What about Linderbaum? Where did he go?
Lindenbaum?
Linderbaum from Iowa center. Is he on the list?
I do not see him on here.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Sorry. So maybe he's still available later on. I guess
wonder if
I
he
might
went to
have missed it.
Detroit.
Oh no, sorry, he went number 8 to the Giants.
Ooh, early. I like it.
Yeah.
He's good, man.
So next, the Lions are on the clock here with the Rams pick, whereas currently slated at number 30.
Just keep winning.
Still on the board. I'm going to name some names here.
Okay.
It'll be one of these names, but I want you to tell me who you would take. These are some of the better ones available. David Bell, wide receiver out of Purdue. Jaquan Brisker, safety out of Penn State. Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. Christian Harris, linebacker out of Alabama. Sam Howell, quarterback out of UNC. This is at number 30 overall. Let me know when you guys have your pick written down. If people are still listening live, who would you guys take out of these? And then we can talk about it as well. So tell me when you got your pick is in. And then we're going to keep going. We're going to make the Lions
Is Treylon
first.
Burks already taken?
Treylon Burks?
Sorry.
Yes, he has. He
Okay.
actually went 24 overall to the Cardinals.
Oh, man. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. To finish out the first round, the Titans select Caxton Kirkland, offensive lineman out of Washington. Packers select Logan Hall, defensive lineman out of Houston. This wasn't a 2-round draft pick, so these guys might be taken by the Jags at 33.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do here is now go to the Lions at 34 overall. You got David. I'm going to say it's basically the exact same list here, except for one name. David Bell, wide receiver out of Purdue. Jaquan Brisker, safety out of Penn State. Christian Harris, linebacker out of Alabama. Sam Howell, quarterback out of UNC. Let me know when you guys pick it.
Do I have to pick one of those?
Huh.
For the sake of the game, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We're going back to the first overall pick. We already told you that it was Jacksonville taking Evan Neal. So the Lions pick is in. This is for Micah. Again, who's available? That are key names: Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Hamilton, Pickett, Jacoby Dean. Micah, tell me when your pick's in.
Pick is it.
Who do you select?
The second overall draft pick. The Lions select Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan.
All right.
Saw that coming.
It's too easy.
All
Gave
right.
me a little smirk there.
Micah,
I knew it.
Ryan, you tell me when you pick.
The pick is in. Excuse me. The Lions select Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh.
Both of you take Aiden Hutchinson.
Hey man, they're in this for the culture. That's very, very important. Is the way a kid is built and like what he stands in is the culture of the team that's been very clear with the Lions, and I think Hutchinson is a can't miss prospect in regards to that.
A key conversation that we didn't have, I think, was did Aiden Hutchinson... I wanted to save it for later. Did Aiden Hutchinson's game against Georgia hurt his draft status? In my opinion, no.
No, he had no
because
time
they
to do anything.
schemed his way through it.
Yep, exactly.
It had nothing to do with him not being good. It was...
Which is why you need a full defense.
They just found a way to make it work. All right. So we're moving down to 30th overall. Just real quick, I'm going to tell you guys the names that were still available. You got David Bell, wide receiver out of Purdue. Jaquan Brisker, safety out of Penn State. Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. Christian Harris, linebacker out of Alabama. And Sam Howell, quarterback out of UNC. Ryan, you go first this time. Tell me when your pick's in.
This is a difficult one because to me, there's other guys that I've got circled that I would rather have. Now, almost all of them were taken, so the pick is in.
Okay.
With the second first round pick, the Detroit Lions select Sam Howell, their rebuilding quarterback, because I'm sold. I'm sold 100%, so I want it.
Really?
From what I can look at myself, I like his delivery. I like his arm action. I like his decision making. I like his athleticism. I'm kind of into it. I don't know his character. I haven't watched a lot of interviews or anything. That's a big part of this. Is
Do you
how he's
think
gonna.
when all said and done, Senior Bowl-ish, whatever, I don't know if they have a Senior Bowl, if he plays in it.
Lions are hosting
all
Senior
of
Bowl.
the other stuff, like the combine and stuff. Do you think he could be still the first quarterback taken off the board?
I think this quarterback class is very unpredictable. I think a lot of people could see strengths in different guys. So we're not going to have a clear-cut top 5 quarterback class.
So
I do think that Kenny Pickett's probably going to be the first one off the board, but I'm not impressed by him. I'm just not.
I don't know if I typed this wrong. Yeah, I must have.
Kenny Pickett?
No, number 6 with the 6th overall pick, I had the Jaguars selecting Matt Corral, which I don't think the Jaguars would be there. I'm trying to think of who would be in this draft to take Matt Corral at 6.
Unless they traded up.
But he was there. But they wouldn't do that when they just had
Yeah, they would.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But then Kenny Pickett went to the football team at number 9 overall. And then I think there was another
They're
one.
getting a
Malik Willis
Yeah.
was taken 17 overall by the Steelers. And look, for me, it's not about these names. It's about position. I think that's kind of the key because Sam Howell will eventually jump 2 or 3 of these quarterbacks. He's not going to be the 4th quarterback taken off the board.
He might be.
You really think so?
Yeah, I really do think so. Matt
All right.
Corral, some people could fall in love with the way he plays. The upside of some of the other guys. Kenny Pickett's probably the most polished, quote-unquote, polished guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I could see it happening. He could be the 4th, 5th overall quarterback. He could also be the first quarterback off the board.
All right.
That's the unpredictability of the class.
All right, keep this thing moving, Micah. Tell me when your pick's in for the Lions here.
Pick is in. And with the second first-round pick, the Detroit Lions select Christian Harris, linebacker out of Alabama.
Not a bad pick.
Now, you guys have a pretty stacked lineup at linebacker. I think he's one of those guys that might take a little bit of time to get going, maybe a year or two, and I don't know where your guys' contracts lie. That was a pick without knowing all the info.
Yeah, I get that.
I think he can be a franchise player on the defense.
They need to take a linebacker somewhere in this draft.
He's
I feel like.
athletic, and it's definitely a position
And it
of need.
feels like in the first 3 picks, you need to take a linebacker.
Now, I don't think he's first
Potentially.
round. I don't think he's first round. It's a reach to me. Could he be a good player in the NFL?
Sure.
Absolutely. And could it fill a big need of the Lions? Yes. I do think that in the first round we need to take more upside.
Speaking of upside, I was going to talk about the Eagles. The Eagles took Nakobe Dean at 14 overall out of Georgia, which was interesting that he fell that far to me. I thought that was interesting, but
They've got
again,
3 of them. They can.
this
they
is
can
mock draft
spend on that
1.0.
stuff, yeah.
This is just this is going to change. It'd be
Yeah.
fun to look at this compared to mock draft 17.0.
There you go.
All right.
I think the point is just to go right back to the Howell thing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. With the trade with Matthew Stafford, at some point, it's not like we were trading a franchise quarterback for a franchise quarterback. Let's get that out of our heads. Can Jared Goff be get us to the playoffs at some point? Yeah, but he's not a Super Bowl winning team unless you're an amazing team around him, right? He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. So in my mind, we just traded away a franchise quarterback. We better get one in return, and that's through the draft. And I'd rather do it now if they believe in one of these guys.
If they believe in one, for sure. All right, next we got the Lions at 34 overall. Some of the names that are available: David Bell, wide receiver out of Purdue; Jaquan Brisker, safety out of Penn State; Christian Harris, linebacker out of Bama; and Howell, still available, quarterback out of UNC. Excuse me. Micah.
Pick is in. With the
34th.
34th overall pick. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions select David Bell, wide receiver out of Notre Dame. It's a position of need, and the dude's a stud. So
He's good.
he's very good.
He runs like a
And
running back after he gets it.
I think it's a guy who can play right away. Has a lot of upside. He's very athletic, and he can really round out that receiving core.
Ryan.
He actually reminds me of Antonio Brown with the way he
Little less
runs,
crazy.
and a little less explosive. I guess not like elite high end speed.
I don't want a more explosive guy than Antonio Brown. What kind of explosive are you talking about? On the field or off the field?
A little less both sides, off the field and on the field.
Will he keep his clothes on the field?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Sam-
DK Metcalf barely
Sam's
wearing a
gonna-
jersey.
Yeah.
That's true. No, it's not a bad pick. Not for me, though. My pick is in. With the 34th overall pick, the Detroit Lions select Jaquan Brisker, safety out of Penn State. And this is again, like, I didn't really like the grouping of players there. If that's what's available, trade down, collect assets. But Brisker, I think safety is actually a really important need for the Lions. They need to stack up in their secondary at some point. And it might just be quantity over quality, and some of these guys work out in the end. But we need to start collecting. We need to start collecting safeties and cornerbacks until we have enough to go around where they all work.
Quantity over quality does work for that position.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
does.
All right, so Ryan, you took Aiden Hutchinson, 2nd overall, Sam Howell, 30th overall, and Brisker, 34th overall. Micah, you took Hutchinson, Christian Harris, and David Bell. So this was Ryan Wilson out of CBS's first-round pick. Mock draft. Sorry about that. And his pick is in for the Detroit Lions, number 2 overall. Oh, boy.
Can I predict it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big, not Hutch, he's a big other guy. Thibodeau guy.
The Lions select Aiden Hutchinson, DE, out of Michigan.
Already.
So moving down,
Already.
his 30th pick is in. Another name that I thought was worth bringing up at 28th overall was Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State.
Yeah.
He went to the Buccaneers there, which is a name that's like, man, if he was there at 30, that one might have been a little
dicey
interesting.
there,
But at 30, his pick is in. Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. Him and Amon-Ra St. Brown back together. You get a little bit of that going. I don't know.
Not a huge fan.
No.
but-
And then he actually did not have. This wasn't a 2-round mock draft, so he doesn't have his pick. But anyways,
What about you?
what would I do? I would go Thibodeau. I would go. David Bell was very interesting to me, that second pick. So I'll just say that for now. I also really like Brisker at 30th overall. I
He's
like
a good
going
athlete.
safety there. And then, so I'll say Brisker. I want to get quantity type guys that can fill in. And then I'll go David Bell in the 34th overall.
Where did Trent McDuffie go? Did he go in the first round?
Yeah, he did. He actually went to the Chiefs at 29 overall. So
okay.
right before the Lions.
All right.
So DB
think he's-
out of Washington.
Yeah, really undervalued. He's good.
Man, and you look at like the cornerback situation. Let's assume Okudah gets healthy and is decent. Let's assume he's not going to go to safety yet. Man, if you drafted a cornerback in the top 3, one of your top 3 picks, you could be set there. If everything lands up with a Warrior, you got some depth that we're finding here with Price and Jerry Jacobs.
Yep.
And, I mean, there's opportunity there. If you have high upside and then the depth, like that would be a way to get a shutdown defense.
We got Melly out there too.
Yeah, that's a Melifani. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty cool. But that was just one of many that we're gonna do. So
Sounds good, man. I'm pumped.
I love the mock draft.
Thibodeau Hutch is a tough one, man.
It is.
It really is.
For me, like, I'm gonna go Thibodeau just because that's who it was supposed to be before Hutchinson did what he did, and I'm like, I don't want to. I almost do it and be like, no, I was that Michigan fan that was okay with not taking Hutchinson. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if and when it doesn't work out, I actually wanted Thibodeau.
No, it's I get it. I understand. I'm right there with
But,
you.
I would be okay with either of them, and I'm just excited that we very well may have the opportunity to have both of them. And also, sitting at number 2 with both of those guys still available, that's a trade-down opportunity.
Somebody might
That is
get
a
desperate.
huge trade-down opportunity, especially when you start looking at some of the teams that have multiple top 10 picks. You got Giants with 2 top 10 picks. You got the Eagles with multiple first-round picks. Jets with 2 top 7 picks. I mean, those are the teams that you keep an eye on. If they fall in love with one of these guys and you can trade down, gain assets, turn quality into quantity, and really build this thing. Like, that's where I think this team can really change things rather quickly.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
Alrighty, we got some. So usually at the end of the year we do the Samza Awards. I didn't want to get like too cute with it this year. I feel like we had enough to talk about, but I did want to give some credit where credit's due to some key players and coaches and just moments here in the state of Michigan over the last 2021 that we just finished?
Yeah.
Yeah, so year 2021.
All last
I'm
year.
already mentally in the 2022. We just signed 2022 or just anyways.
Have you signed it yet?
Signed what?
2022? Have you dated anything yet?
I don't think I'd sign anything.
Oh, I signed 21 like 3 different times today. at
Oh,
work.
really?
Yeah. And then I'm just cross out, and then I write a footnote. Okay, the 2021. Ah, dang it. And I had to cross out my cross out. It's terrible.
Cross out the cross out. Anyways, what I wanted to start with is basically the new player of the year. So the reason why I wanted to do this,
Are we doing all these?
Yeah, these.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do new player of the year, newcomer of the year, coach of the year, rookie/freshman of the year. I feel like that can be different. I don't know if we're going to land on the same guy. We'll talk about it as we go. Moment of the year, and then just overall player of the year. I think is a good way to do it. Key moments, key things that are really important to the state of Michigan. Newcomer of the year. I threw some names on here. If there's some that you guys are missing, also if there's anybody still alive, throw your comments in on the newbie of the year. For me, I started with some rookies, and in my head I go, all right, let's talk about the rookies for the Lions. Sewell St. Brown kind of fall in line. I feel like Jared Goff could kind of be part of that conversation as a newcomer of the year for the state of Michigan. You got Cade Cunningham. And then this is where it gets interesting and why I wanted to make it a newcomer of the year is you get Kenneth Walker part of the conversation. He's not a freshman, but he's a newcomer. So 100% up to you guys. If you guys have other names, please bring them up. But do we want to keep this separate from rookies and have our rookie of the year, or can a rookie or freshman be newcomer of the year today? Or do we want to make this I
think it's a good breakdown. I like it.
Of what?
Of how you have it laid out.
So you think both can be part of the conversation here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. So are there any names that I didn't bring up? Those are just a few that I talked about. I also thought about coaches with McDonald, Aaron Glenn. They both have good first years. Newcomer of the year for the state of Michigan. Where do your guys' minds go?
The first one that sticks out to me is Kenneth Walker, for obvious reasons, and honestly, to give some Lions fans some love, I think Brad Holmes. I mean, you wouldn't have some of the names on this list without that man right there.
No, I think that's a good one. It's an interesting one.
That's kind of where I
definitely.
went with newcomer of the year. Those were the two names that really attracted me. So
Yeah. So if it came down to those two, I would lean towards a player, because I think what Holmes is going to do is far out of our vision right now, if that's a fair way to look at it. Ryan, were there other names that you think are worth bringing up that you would argue for, or just you want to give somewhat credit to?
The first three, Sewell, St. Brown, and Cade Cunningham, those are really interesting to think about, just being rookies, for the pro sports teams. I'm gonna lean towards the successful teams from this year. So I'm thinking more like the McDonald defensive coordinator side, where he really made an immediate difference that led to a championship. And so I think that's where I want to go. And I know that's kind of not where. Are you leaning towards players more? Because I think that was the bigger impact. I really do. I think McDonald coming in was part of that youth movement at Michigan. And again, we're talking about a Big Ten championship in 25 years of 20 plus years of irrelevance, really, right? So I just think it was that important. It was that impactful, and he did it against Ohio State. So I'm going to go with McDonald.
Yeah. So the one that really stood out to me, and I think it's not just about being successful this year. It's about turning a franchise around.
AJ Hinch. Yeah, I love that one.
That one
queued that
is
up for you,
so
actually.
interesting to me, because it's I agree, McDonald had a huge part of what Michigan went through in the change, but long term I don't know. And did he bring a bigger change than AJ Hinch did? AJ Hinch single-handedly changed the mentality of the organization just by coming in and be like, look, we're gonna win this mother effing thing. So I'm telling you, with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. People
either
wanna play for 'em.
either we are going to, you're gonna, yeah, people want to play for me, but I also know how to work the young guys in. I've done this before. The worst GM in baseball, get out of my way. I'm running the ship here. And that's the way I look at it. And that might be fair with, and I'm saying Al Avila, push him to the side
sure feels
and
like
be
it.
like, this is my mother effing team. If you want this team to ever be successful under your name, give me the reins and let's do this thing. And that's where I'm just like, AJ Hinch changed. And it was early in the year, early in 2021, that this changed. And it feel like I know it's stupid, but how bad the Tigers were and were expected to be, and it changed just because we have a good manager and a good vision. That was a big part of Michigan football and Michigan State football being successful. He changed the landscape. This was the worst state in sports history last year. You'd look at all the teams; they were absolutely terrible. Lions, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, awful, 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 awful. Tigers were awful. AJ Hinch comes in, he goes, "Give me spring, I'll take it from here." And then it's like, oh, Pistons, we'll just win the, we'll win the lottery. All right, we'll follow suit. We'll get some a little
Start with
excitement. We'll
Hinch,
play
right?
good. And then it's like, all right, well, Michigan football's like, well, I can't give the little Tigers all this credit. And so they're going to have a good turnaround. You know what I mean? So I'm going to lean towards AJ Hinch. So we got three different names
Hinch
here.
movement.
And the problem
Hinch, I love
is
it.
I could also think Kenneth Walker deserves it just as much as like AJ Hinch because
Yeah,
of
it's like
what he
welcome,
did.
yeah.
And it was, but
But it didn't lead to a
long-term,
championship.
And what Kenneth Walker did is, yeah, it was fun, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
Season.
No, it's a good one.
I'm
I
gonna
like
go
it. I
throw
really like it.
AJ Hinch, but if you guys have an argument, do you guys want to keep it going?
It's just the championship thing. Both I think had really great results and impact to the team because again, this Michigan defense, who did they do it against? Ohio State, and when it mattered most, and then they went in against Iowa and held them to 3 points. Nobody does that. Come on, I mean that's insane. So I think McDonald had a massive impact on Aiden Hutchinson and the confidence overall with his team. And I think both are good options. One led to a championship. The other one led to a turnaround. I'm going championship this time.
All right, so we're basically between Kenneth Walker, McDonald, and AJ Hinch. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, as much as I love that you went with
I-
Holmes, and I love that because I agree, but I just don't think we can see it quite yet.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm gonna not say yet.
No, we're all pumped. But
yeah,
one, yeah. we
I
gotta
do love
get-
what he's done, but he also had some
So
bad
what
free
are you
agent
thinking?
signings too. I would be willing to give it to any of those three personally, and I think that's where this could get long.
You know what?
Mike? If you want to change,
Okay.
yeah,
We
what
can
do
do Hinch too.
Yeah,
Good
I'll,
Hinch.
I'll jump on board with Hinch. You did mention that Al Avila was, or maybe is the worst GM. We did give him an award last year, though, at this time of the year.
Did we?
Because
Did we give him GM of the year? That was
I
dumb.
think so. Because
wasn't, 'cause
he
you hired
brought
Hinch.
in AJ
I don't-
Hinch.
Oh,
So-
you're right. I think you're right.
We cheated the rules. It was after the year, right? But
So you know what?
We knew already.
Give me some Tigers love here. I'm going to go with AJ Hinch.
I
You're
love
gonna go
it.
with AJ Hinch. All right,
I'm in.
AJ Hinch. Or
Yeah.
come accept your. I
And
can't
surprise!
do multiple things at once here. All right, so now I did want to go down to Coach of the Year. I mean, do we really need to keep this thing going? But anyways, I'm going to name all the coaches. Blashill, Howard, Izzo, Dwayne Casey, Campbell, Harbaugh, Tucker, McDonald, Gaddis, Aaron Glenn, AJ Hinch. It's hard to say that. I mean, so let's look at championships, right? So obviously we're going to cross Blashill out. We're going to cross Dwayne Casey out. Campbell too
out.
early. I like what we're seeing.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get me wrong. I like it. Too early to tell.
Go prove it next year.
If we're going Coach of the Year, would you go with a coordinator or the head coach? So if we're
you
going
gotta go head
Harbaugh
coach.
against McDonald and
coach.
Gaddis, I agree with that.
Only head coach.
We're going to cross out Aaron Glenn. Again, love what he's doing. So here we are. We got Howard and Izzo. I think Howard had a better year, personally. So let's cross out Izzo, right? If this is a fair way to do it?
Oh, yeah.
You guys like this? So let's go Michigan versus Michigan State, Harbaugh versus Tucker. Are you going to go with head-to-head? Or are you going to go with...
Harbaugh.
No, you're not going head to
You're
head.
going to the Big Ten champion and I
Yeah.
agree with
No
that
doubt.
completely.
No doubt.
All right, so let's stick with Michigan coaches. You got Howard against Harbaugh. As much as what Howard did in winning the regular season Big Ten, the run in the tournament was less than impressive. I think it's fair to say. You lost to, I think it was an 11 seed with UCLA. That shouldn't have happened. I think getting to a Final Four that Harbaugh did wins that head-to-head.
Yes. If
But-
Jawan went on a run without Livers, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay? Like, I don't think Livers was the LeBron of Michigan, but he was a very, very important piece to this team, and they lost him, was it just before March Madness?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
was
I think
it
it was
a ways before
It was
that?
a little before.
Okay.
It might have been in the Big Ten tournament, or it might have been leading into the Big Ten. I don't remember exactly when he got hurt.
So it was less impressive, but without Livers, it was actually quite impressive how far they made it, in my opinion.
Okay.
I didn't expect them to go to the championship game without Livers.
I expected a Final Four. I did. I really
Okay.
expected a Final Four for Michigan. They were a 1 seed, if I remember correctly. That tells you right there you should be in the Final Four. No,
Livers
it's
got
hard.
injured.
It's hard. Yeah, we that's exactly what Mike was bringing up.
Yeah.
So Howard versus Harbaugh, who would you go with?
Man, I'm going to go with Harbaugh.
I would too. I really
Same.
would.
I think
And I don't mean that as against Howard, and I love the recruiting aspect to it, but the early start or the ending of 2021 has been pretty ugly for Michigan.
Yeah, I agree.
We haven't talked college basketball a lot.
Really disappointing,
But
the
it's
start
been-
of this season for them.
So-
But also just the changes that Harbaugh made with going through the assistant coaches again. He cleaned house. He took a huge risk. He cut. Like his salary was cut. Like that stuff.
That man took a long look in the mirror,
Yes,
and he made some honest changes.
and he made some personal changes too.
Yeah.
A whole change of culture in 1 year. Hard to do with the same coach.
Yep. So then when it comes on to Coach of the Year, we got Harbaugh against A.J. Hinch, who just won Newcomer of the Year. Where you guys thinking with that head-to-head? Look, for me,
I'm going Harbaugh.
I am too. And this is, sorry, I
No,
just
you're
jumped.
good.
But this,
Good.
it's harder in football. It's harder to do what Harbaugh did, and he was actually successful. A.J. Hinch wasn't necessarily successful. It was just surprising, like, that wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that was my
And
argument
that's,
the first time.
Yeah, it was.
Championship.
Yeah.
When it mattered most, they did it for
Yeah.
the Big Ten. And
Yep.
I get
And not that I expected A.J. Hinch to win a championship this year. Not that I expected Michigan football to win a Big Ten. But it's like, what Harbaugh did
But there's your point.
is impressive.
You just proved your point. You didn't expect Jim to
that's a
do
good point.
quite anything
Was that my
relatively
point or your
close.
point?
they went 2-4.
Was that my point or your point?
No, you just pointed out your own point.
You pointed out my good point.
I think
And I missed my good point until you pointed out my good point.
I think I'm winning in
No,
points.
so AJ Hinch, rightfully so, wins Newcomer of the Year. Culture change, we believe in it totally, but Harbaugh is the winner here, Coach of the Year, championship.
Good job, Harbaugh, coach.
I'm really proud of that guy.
You're a weirdo, but
and
you're our
he's
weirdo.
our weird.
Yeah.
I love that.
Big weirdo.
Next we got rookie / freshman. Freshman.
This is,
Did I
I
say
think,
that
is the most difficult. 1 degree.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, so all right. I want to break it down. We'll start with Sewell St. Brown. You got Cade Cunningham. You got Mo Sider, Lucas Raymond, Donovan Edwards, J.J. McCarthy. I think it's fair to cross off the list. Still want to put him on there. Akil Badu. We didn't bring him
good for him.
up to the Newcomer of the Year. Very good rookie year. That was really a fun spark that the Tigers had. Eric Haas, I had Scooble, Mize, and Manning. They kind of all fit in that. So let's start there. Let's start with the Tigers.
Let's start with Tigers
and
because
find the Tigers rookie of the year, and then we can go from there.
I think Mize has to be just because of the consistency that he had in his ERA in the threes, and that's an obvious choice. We'll get to it a little bit later, but yeah, Akil Badu, Eric Haas, good. We're glad to have you. Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
But Mize, I mean, that's like a building block.
Yeah, Mize was a no-brainer. I think in a lot of ways, not throwing you on, but he proved you wrong in a lot of ways because you had your questions leading
No.
into this year with Mize. Yeah, you did.
No, I predicted Mize to a T.
Oh, getting called out.
Oh, I can't wait to go back and
But
listen
you
to
have
these.
you have said that he's surprised you. In this
what
year.
regard? Yeah.
He just tricked you. You're going to actually go listen to the podcast.
Yeah, your first listen. Just gained another listener, guys. Let's go.
When's the last time you listened? I'm gonna call you back out.
I don't listen
time, right?
anymore.
Since the Samsa's 2020.
I used to listen just to get our numbers up. I don't have to do that anymore, so it's kind of nice.
Nice.
Anyways, I would agree that it is Mize. So that I think that's
No,
where to go.
his control, his fastball command surprised me. It came earlier than I was expecting. The success that I predicted was a year earlier than I thought it would come.
All right.
So proud of that. Yeah, he earned
So he
it from the
surprised
team.
you a little bit. Let's go over to the
Wouldn't say
Lions.
that.
Sewell versus St. Brown. As fun as St. Brown has been, Sewell is one of the best tackles in football. Not just, he's a nice surprise type guy. Sewell's a building block. Sewell is unbelievable. And
Sewell's a left tackle?
Sewell
A
is
right tackle.
the rookie of the year for the Lions, even though he's not putting up the crazy numbers that people like. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not fun. It's not fun to look at an offensive line
because there aren't numbers. That's
exactly.
the point. Like,
exactly.
how do you grade him?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So I think between the two,
PFF.
Sewell
That's all we got.
would win
Yeah, I
that.
like though.
Let's get into some real rookies here. We got Cade Cunningham, and we were talking real rookies. But all right, Cade Cunningham, Mo Sider, Lucas Raymond.
This is tough.
Between those three, all right. I feel like it's early for all of them. We've still got a lot to go here for both teams in the season. I think what Cade Cunningham is doing is very underrated. He's the leader of this franchise already, and that's awesome to see. When you're putting up points and doing what you're doing, like Lucas Raymond in the NHL, that's impressive. He's had slow moments as well, and the rookie bug might catch up to him. And then you got Sider, who's just steady at what he does day in and day out. When it comes to those three, I'm going to lean towards Sider. It's not the numbers. It's not the flashiness. It's not the big name. It's truly, I think, the best rookie in the NHL this year. When all said and done, I think he is the best. And if he's the best in the NHL, I think he's the best in the state of Michigan. That's where I'm going to go. I would be willing to hear other arguments personally, but
no offense to Cade Cunningham. I cut him out first.
okay.
And I went down to Sider and Raymond, and I just landed on Raymond. For his body of work, yeah, it's flashy like you said. It's not as steady as Mo, but we do have 2.5 months left to go.
Real quick, I'm going to cross off Donovan Edwards, J.J. McCarthy. You guys
Yeah.
good with that?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
fine.
I would have put Donovan Edwards ahead of J.J. McCarthy, personally, but neither one of them are going to win this award. Sorry, guys.
Right. So
Please
yeah,
keep listening,
my
though.
pick is Lucas.
Yeah,
So-
I'm okay with not going Cade here because of a couple of things. I think where he stands in the franchise would earn him this award, but he hasn't played very many games. He was out injured for the first 3 games of the season.
Yeah, yep.
And then he was on COVID protocols recently. Like, we all know what we like about him. I think he'll win Rookie of the Year. I think he's really, really impressive in the NBA right now. He's their fourth quarter decision maker. That says a lot about a 19, 20-year-old kid, right? In the
Yeah.
NBA. We all see the way it's going to work out, and it's positive for the Pistons. I'm going to rely on both of you guys. I would personally go Sider in this,
Yeah.
just because, and Raymond's the 19-year-old, and I think that's fun because it's
Yeah.
teenager versus in your 20s.
Yeah.
But I think Sider has been what you said. He's been the rock. He's been the guy that now they can start building around and draft around and everything else. They can
Yeah.
plan around him.
Yep. You can forget about that position where a Lucas Raymond is. You need to get
Let's
another
add.
one. You
Let's
get
add.
another. Before we kind of settle the Sider Raymond debate, I want to go back and just say, for me, it's Casey Mize over both of them at this point. I think he's getting very close to being what we want him to be. I mean, he's 7 innings, shut down. Obviously, he didn't get the long things because they were on the count. They were protecting him.
Yeah.
He's ready to take that step. He's ready to be not only our ace, but a very, 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 very good pitcher in this league. And with the top pitchers aging out. This is the next era. And for me, I think Mize deserves Rookie of the Year in the state of Michigan. Would you say Sider would be ahead of him, or would you say Raymond would be ahead of him, or should we settle on this Mize thing? Like,
Oh, I'd settle on Mize all day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Plus,
Yeah.
he did it over the course of a full season. We don't even know what those other guys
yeah,
yet.
yep. And I think that's a benefit to Mize in this
Congrats,
argument.
Mize.
So, Casey Mize, come get your award.
I would say a close second. Sewell.
That's yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't even talk about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe not close second. I think
I think
underrated there.
We know more as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
That's a good point. I think it should go Mize, Sewell, and then Sider Raymond argument can go either way. I did want to do moment of the year, and I put a few down here. If you guys have one that I'm missing, please jump in here. So the first one that came to my mind was winning the NBA lottery. That was huge. That was like a celebration because it wasn't necessarily we go get Cade Cunningham. It was like we finally won a lottery. It felt like a big deal in the state of Michigan. We get screwed in Detroit constantly. It seems like with the lottery system that the NBA and NHL use, that one stood out to me. Michigan's Big Ten basketball championship was another. I think for state fans, beating Michigan, 2 7-0 matchups, that was a big one. Any stand out to you guys, Ryan?
I mean, I'm biased on this a little bit, but Miggy's 500th was just fun. It took him a while to get to 500 once he was at 499 there.
Yeah.
But good for him. I'm just so proud of him, and it's been such a long time coming for him, and that really is a milestone number. It's something that people have missed out on in the past because of injuries. And man, he's battled year after year with these injuries later in his career, and he got to that Hall of Fame milestone number, and I think it was important, and it was fun. The other one would be the Lions' first win of the season. I mean, that was like a Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding.
It felt like a big deal, right?
No, it's just funny because the way they celebrated. I loved it, though.
And I think the tie prior was made it less fun.
It was also it was a walk-off. I mean, my goodness.
That was pretty
walk-offs
cool.
in the NFL are rare, so celebrate.
That was pretty cool. That was a good one. Micah, what stands out to you?
I also had Miggy's 500th home run. I felt like the state was just rooting for the Tigers at that point. Not that they ever stopped, but especially rooting for Miggy. I think everyone wanted to see that home run ball. And me being biased again, Michigan beating OSU. That wasn't just for Michigan fans. That was for so many other people that hate Ohio State also.
All right, so let's talk about Michigan football. I think winning the Big Ten championship is also could fit in that.
Oh yeah,
but
we all knew at that
what
point
was better. The OSU win. Was better.
It felt better.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Iowa confirmed our feelings. They started with OSU.
Akil Badu's home run, first pitch of his career.
That was sick.
That was a really cool moment. I don't think it measures up.
Great memory,
but
though.
It's great memory, and I will lean towards the Miggy's 500th home run as being a great memory. But when you have other moments here that I think stand out a little bit more, that are just true explosive moments, like that was just like, all right, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? That was just we have explosive moments that mean more to me. Another one I think we need to talk about is the Stafford trade, and that is a huge moment in Detroit sports. They just gave up the biggest lightning rod in the state of Michigan. Like, they moved on. The new regime, the whole thing of the Lions' directional change, I think, is also a moment. I don't know where I would turn it to. I think it needs to be brought up. I don't think it needs to be brought up, but I don't think it should win. Either of them, the new regime or the Stafford trade. The Stafford trade might deserve it.
I think so. And plus, it was a statement of the new regime. That was their statement. So that meant more. Yeah.
That's true.
Agreed.
All right. So this is what I have out of basically the four here. Is I have winning the NBA lottery, Michigan beating OSU, Stafford trade, Miggy's 500th home run. So let's start with winning the lottery. against the Stafford trade. Kind of the same type of ish celebration, the same type of moment, franchise changing potentially, whether
Yeah.
it's positive or negative.
I think both of these, it's like we don't know the impact yet.
Yeah.
So this is that had a lot of hope in the immediate, and it was fun, and it energized the city and everything. But we don't know exactly what it means. So in my opinion, we know what the 500th meant to Miggy in the city, and we know what the championship meant to Michigan.
So you think it deserves to go between Michigan beating OSU and Miggy's 500?
I do, yeah.
I agree with that.
And I think the choice is easy in the end. For me, it's super easy.
Same.
It's the beating OSU.
Absolutely.
That is.
It's Michigan.
I mean, Micah was running around my neighborhood in a little bit less than bathing suit. Like, he's never been in my house wearing less than that. I'm not sure he's ever welcome here again for that type of victory. I agree. And I think
It's a
the
no-brainer.
combination of it's just when is the Miggy home run going to happen? It's going to happen.
Yep.
But when? But the way they did it, it was the moment of the year.
As proud as we are of the Tigers, again, they did not win anything.
Yeah.
They
might not even won that game. I don't know if they
we
won that game.
loved the progress. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Actually, I think they did. Right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shows how much it mattered.
But they didn't
right?
win. They didn't conquer. They didn't do it. Michigan, this was a milestone. We're gonna remember this.
I
This
actually
is
think
going
I
to be
told
year.
the Miggy 500 story on the podcast, didn't I? Mine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow, you missed
so
it
mad.
because you're a good dad.
'Cause I'm a good dad and neighbor to your kids, too, because they
Yeah.
were part of that whole thing, too.
I watched it.
All right, you guys are waiting for me to get in the pool? You guys are waiting for me to get in the pool? All right, I'll go get in the
I
pool.
think I was at work.
They're not going to hit another home run.
Yeah.
Or he's
I
not
wa-
going to.
I watch every
This
at-bat.
isn't the at-bat that it's going to happen, so I'll just go walk over there and then pull it up on my phone. Sure enough, home run.
Sure enough.
That's how good that moment was.
Wouldn't
I don't even remember the
I
moment.
was gonna
I remember being mad at a bunch of 8 to 4-year-olds.
Wouldn't-
You guys made me miss this.
It wouldn't surprise me if Ari had like randomly seen it, like he like ran over there, watched it, and then came
Well,
back.
it was probably still on my TV in the garage. He was
exactly.
probably just like,
And didn't react.
Right.
Just gets back in the pool like nothing
That's
happened.
the way he is. He's just like, hey, Dad, I got like 387 yards against the Chiefs today passing. And I'm like, is that a true number? And he goes, and I go over there and like check, and it's like 387.
that's awesome. So,
He's just spot on.
Michigan, come get your Samza Award. I
Huge
know that
moment of the
means-
year.
The Samza Award means more to you guys than actually winning that game.
Yeah, who just took it? Did Harbaugh come and get it? Did Hutch come and get it? Who's the guy who just received that award?
Which award? Oh,
The moment
to
of the year.
come up and get it?
Yeah.
Oh, Harbaugh, because he's staying.
There you go. I agree.
Yeah, all right.
Hutch, see ya. Maybe
See ya.
maybe welcome.
We might care about your future.
Yeah, we might.
We're not sure yet. We're not sure. Last, I did want to go with Player of the Year. We've talked about a lot of players. I think it's probably already been mentioned. I think Hutchinson deserves mention of Player of the Year. Kenneth Walker. I think Jared Goff deserves a little more credit. He hasn't won much, so
False.
we'll go with that. Sewell, Larkin, Bertuzzi, Cade.
Goff is the worst addition to this. How did you do this? He doesn't deserve Player of the Year.
I don't know, man. I like Goff.
No, you don't.
I do like Goff.
Really?
I'm
How do you
starting to like Goff.
How about Stafford? We should add Stafford to this. He was a line for a little while, and he's
He
having a
won
great
more,
year.
He won more games than
He's having a great
Goff.
year.
That was a line. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably not. But anyways, Player of the Year. I don't know. I
I think you're missing somebody. Haskins needs to be on here after breaking the record for rushing touchdowns in a historic program that focuses on rushing. Like, that's pretty cool. What he did against Ohio State too. I mean,
yeah.
I think he earns a spot on this.
Does Cade McNamara deserve to be on there?
No,
No.
I'm proud
I
of him
think
too.
you know where we stand on the Cade McNamara.
No, I'm proud of him too. But no, there were standouts, man. There were other reasons why they got where they needed to go.
All right. So you brought up Haskins. You said other names. Are there other names that I'm missing? Casey Mize.
Yeah, absolutely. Case Mize deserves to be on here.
Anybody else?
I'm surprised you don't have Peyton Thorne, Jaden Reed on there.
I I think it's obvious that Hutch and
I guess,
Walker
and
would be
that's where
above him.
I was at with when, and I
Right.
probably did this internally a little too much, but like, if I'm going to pick a Michigan player, I'm going to pick Hutchinson. If I'm going to pick a Michigan State player, it's going to be Walker. And to be completely honest with you, I think that's what it comes down to is between those two players for this award in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, that's
What about basketball? What about college basketball?
None of the players really stood out to me enough to make it, and they didn't win. You know, Isaiah Livers had a great career or a great
Livers,
year.
it's too bad. Like if they would have done something special with him on the court, that could have
Then
been
it
different.
would have been.
Yeah,
Um,
because you're seeing the lack of leadership on their team right now, and he's a huge loss.
yeah, and I think oh my gosh, Dickinson had an unbelievable year last
he
year.
did.
Hunta.
But what we're seeing now is like okay,
He still plays well, but they just don't have an identity.
they're missing something. So like that's where it's.
Yeah, it's hard. It knocks him down a peg for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't think there was a standout on either basketball team that was like, they're the reason why we're here.
Nope.
Necessarily.
No.
It was
Agreed.
more of a team effort.
You're not going to say Jeremy Grant, right? I mean,
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm still mad he's still in the state of Michigan. If he even is. He might
gonna
be
trade
traded
him.
before he ever plays again
Yeah.
for a Piston.
I'm not against it.
Anyways, for me, it comes down to Hutchinson Walker.
That's what I have written down.
I think Hutch, to me, had such. He was a game wrecker every single game of the year before Georgia. I mean, really, every game he was a game wrecker, and nobody could do anything about it.
Yeah.
The numbers speak for themselves. Runner up to the Heisman.
I don't like that argument personally because I think that's a popularity vote just as much of a player of the year vote. I mean, Kenneth Walker won Offensive Player of the Year, right?
For what? The AP or the Big
Yeah,
Ten?
I think he
or-
won AP Player of the Year, didn't he? And he was the first one to win that award and not be at a Heisman ceremony.
Offense
It was
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So
Well, this is the argument that I'm using. This is my opinion.
no,
So
that's fine.
what,
That's
I
fine.
guess what I'm saying is, it's just I put him down as 1A, 1B, and that's what I said, and it was not close in my opinion. And I just think that the dominance that Aiden Hutchinson had,
Wait, you're saying 1A and 1B, but they're not close? That sounds close.
yeah, it sounds close, but it's not close.
So you would go Hutchinson?
Yeah,
I would lean
All
towards
day.
Walker personally, just because the numbers.
Not
and
me. They lost to Purdue,
You would go Hutch. Yeah.
and he disappeared against Ohio State. Was he hurt? I still don't even know the story.
Allegedly, he was hurt.
Yeah, but I don't know the story. Like, I don't
well,
know.
if he was hurt, why don't they just say he's hurt? It's the big deal.
They did
Yeah.
after the fact, but it's also to protect him, I think. Look, I'm okay with going Hutchinson. Don't get me wrong. I just what Kenneth Walker did. I mean, I feel bad that he wasn't a part of the Heisman ceremony, and that's why I'm trying to kind of throw the guy a bone so he can go into the draft feeling a little better about himself with the
Yeah,
Samza award. You know?
Heisman's very very specific
fair.
award.
Yeah.
Heisman is very
Samza's a
specific
little more
to
important.
Heisman moments, and Hutchinson gave those moments in the big time, the biggest of the
Yeah.
big games, and that's where I think it just Walker did he have an amazing year? 100%. That's
Yeah,
why he's
no
in the
His
top two.
his numbers were comparable to previous Heisman Trophy winners.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
As running backs.
Yep.
And that's where it's like,
Yep. If they would have been in the playoff, if they would have beat
Yeah, that's
Georgia,
fair.
if they would have done all that stuff, then yeah, he'd be up there. He'd won. He would have won. I think that's what it comes down to, and you know, second place in this Samza award is a big deal.
big deal. All right. Congratulations, Aiden Hutchinson.
Hey, play of the year. I
Anyways,
still think Haskins might have been second, but whatever.
you would put Haskins over? Oh, man. Now that
They
would ruffle some
they
feathers.
leaned on him. You guys, come on.
That would ruffle a lot of feathers. That's all I'm saying.
You're not gonna get complaining out of me.
All right.
What about Dax?
He was probably...
From the Red Wings
important, man.
to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
Just did.
So there was a clip of the player running over Daxton Hill that's kind of making its round. But Daxton Hill was the only one in that game that looked like he belonged on the field in the way that he was playing. That guy looked just as athletic as anybody else on the field, in my opinion. Look, don't get me, I'm not saying Hutchinson isn't. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying there's not any offensive players on Michigan that isn't, but I'm just saying, like, defensively, he stood out in a positive way, I thought, in a poorly defended football game. I thought Daxton Hill looked
I
really
think
good.
Vincent Gray definitely stood out to me. Every time he stopped running, like,
Yeah.
it was a big play.
That stood out a lot.
It stood out.
Again, it
Just kind of stood there.
just reminded me so
While the
much
ball
of
went
a
over his
Madden
head.
glitch. That's what it did.
Yeah.
I
Or like,
know.
you know when you used to play and you would change players to that player and you're not pushing run, and then he would be like,
Oh, yeah,
stop.
yeah.
Oh, no, I'm running again. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, or like
When
you're
you-
like running up and then you change players and now you like he's running down,
Yeah.
but then you
It's
start
like,
going
I
up.
didn't want to change that player.
Yeah.
Then he's running the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the best way I can think about it in my own mind is I've had like glitches before. It sounds weird, but like I've rounded third base heading home and the coaches waved me home, and for no reason at all, I've just like paused, turned around, looked at the ball, and then kept going and like stumbled my way into it to score. And there was no reason for it at all, but I just randomly did it. And in my head, shouldn't have happened, but I glitched. And that's the best thing I can like compare it to is he was in perfect position. He turned. There was no reason for him to stop, but he didn't know the ball was there.
Because there was no reason for that ball to be thrown because he was
Exactly.
covering him so
he
well.
would
He's
have
like,
he would have been in a way better
and
position.
there
to
was a
pick it.
Georgia cheerleader with a whistle that he thought he heard.
or it was just a
convinced of
cheerleader,
it.
or he's just
Yeah,
like,
maybe
wow,
he
a
whistled. Maybe
Georgia
he whistled
cheerleader.
at the cheerleader, and then the cheerleader was like, "What?
Yeah.
Someone cat
Am I
call
supposed
me?
to do my dance now?"
He's never seen a Georgia cheerleader before. It's
Right.
distracting.
It's a different world than Michigan cheerleaders.
You don't get those SEC
I'm
cheerleaders
assuming.
in the Big Ten.
I'm assuming.
I'm assuming. Good save.
Let's talk some
oh, okay. I was
mock
wondering
draft
what we were doing
2.0. No, I'm just kidding.
here. Yeah.
We got Betting Hero. We got our picks. BettingHero.com. Promo code MyBets. We got to keep this thing moving. So
Man,
go to the website.
We do long
Type it all in.
podcasts.
Yeah, this is a long one. Anyways, last week Micah 4-5, Kyle 4-5. I went 4-5. Ryan 5-4.
There you go.
Micah leading the way 70-59. Kyle number 2 69-60. Ryan, you're one game back 68-61, and I'm only 2 back from you 66-63. We're so close to the playoffs. That's when it gets fun. This is kind of just like a throwaway week for the NFL games. But we do have something to talk about
Sucks.
that mean at least a little bit, right? We're going to start with the Steelers at the Ravens. Steelers still available, or still in playoff contention. I got Ravens -4. That was when I looked it up yesterday. It might have changed. Anyways, that's what we're going with. Micah, what are you doing?
I'm going to go Ravens. I hate taking them, but I just don't trust the Steelers. Big Ben, he played his last home game already. He's going to lose.
Ryan, or do you want me to go Kyle's
Yeah,
pick?
what did Kyle do?
Kyle took the Ravens as well.
Man, this is like a sucker pick. To pick up that game, everything wants to take the Steelers, but the Ravens. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think their quarterback play with Huntley has
It's actually
been
really
so
Actually
solid.
good. Yeah.
And I think that just tells you that Lamar Jackson might not be as good as everybody says they are, or says he is.
Come on, I think let's give credit to Huntley. He's been poised. He's been good. Their offense hasn't changed a whole lot with him under center. I think he works.
I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I don't think the Steelers are any good. They tied the Lions. Well, I mean, the Lions
Should have beat the Ravens.
should have beat the Ravens, so that's fair.
Lions
Next,
are a playoff team waiting to happen next year.
I agree, especially when
Look at him.
especially when Aaron Rodgers leaves and
I know.
retires. It's gonna be a fun year for the
When
Lions.
Aaron Rodgers
Lions are
comes to
going.
the Lions?
Honestly, as soon as this season's over, I'm
boy.
gonna put a bet on the Lions winning the division,
Not
and I'm
bad.
gonna win.
Yeah,
They're gonna be like plus 1,000. I'll be like
big money.
easy money.
Big money.
Big,
Put $100 on that.
What would that be? $1,000?
10 grand.
10 grand? That's how you do it. That's good math. Next, we got the Saints at the Falcons. Saints are still in the hunt. Falcons plus 4.5. Mike, what are you doing?
Give me the Saints.
Kyle's taking the Falcons. Ryan,
I'll go Falcons here.
really?
Yeah.
Can I change
That's
mine?
what you wanted?
I wanted you to take the Saints so I can go Falcons.
No, Saints can't score now.
I'm going to stick with the Falcons
Perfect.
for now. We're all catching Micah.
It worked out for me last week.
Next, we got the Chargers
What'd you get
at
last week?
the Raiders.
Baylor.
Raiders are plus 3. Harbaugh's future team.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
The
nice.
Raiders. Harbaugh's future team.
Leaving. Nuts.
Yeah, you're crazy.
You got the Raiders +3 at home. Micah, what are you doing?
Give me Herbert.
Kyle is taking Herbert and the Chargers as well. Ryan.
Man, I like this. I'm taking the Raiders. They're a weird team. They're hard to predict. They win games they should lose, but they all know it. So I think they have this like weird confidence inside that clubhouse.
Yeah, and if you can get a home dog for 3 points,
Yeah.
it seems like a good pick. I'm taking the Raiders as well. I really like Derek Carr. Like, maybe not as a quarterback.
He's a good
but
guy.
as a human,
He's a good person.
he's a good dude.
Agreed.
And I really
Agreed.
like him as a leader. So I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Seems like a game they'll win and they'll end up losing by 40. But
Yeah. Next, you got 49ers at the Rams. I think the 49ers need this win. They might have already clinched. I guess I don't know the ins and outs. But Rams are -5. Micah, what are you doing?
I'm going with the 49ers here. Because I think they're either playing for a spot or they're playing for a better seed. Like you said, I don't know. So they're going to be playing their guts out to make sure they take care of postseason hopes.
Ryan?
I kind of feel like they're in the postseason already, 49ers. But Rams, I was really down on the Rams the last couple weeks just because of their inconsistent play. But
I think it was proven.
they
Keep winning, but
they keep
not
winning.
pretty.
I'm going to go with Rams.
I'm going to go with Rams, too, mainly because I think that defense, if Trey Lance plays or an injured Garoppolo plays, like either way, I think that defense is going to make him pay. Now, the Rams don't have a ton to play for, but I think home field throughout outside of Green Bay is what they're going for. And they want to win this game because that's pretty important. Winning this division, I think, is still on the table.
They stack
with
up.
the Cardinals.
They stack up pretty well against 49ers run-heavy offense.
All right. Next, we got Green Bay at Detroit. Detroit, a 2.5-point underdog. It actually opened as a favorite.
Wow. What?
Yeah, because nobody was playing. Like, allegedly, like, Rodgers and the team wasn't going to play. But it sounds like Rodgers wants to play, and it sounds like they might play the first half. I don't know what's going on there.
He wants to yell at
But
the
also,
crowd.
Taylor Decker.
I own you.
Taylor Decker and Sewell were put on the COVID list since then. So, Lions are a 2.5-point underdog at home. I have no idea where I'm going to go with this. It's all based on what you guys are doing. Michael, what are you going to do here?
I hate the fact that Coach LaFleur said that he's going to play all his starters, and I don't know for how long, and that just drives me nuts.
It's gonna be
So
like
you don't want
one
anybody
drive.
to play? Even though you're going to the game, you don't want the starters to play?
Well, I mean, yeah, selfishly, I want them to play, but if one of them gets hurt, I'm gonna lose it. I mean, that's
If we were in that scenario, I would look at it as, do I want my team to have 2 full weeks off? Or it would really be 3 full weeks.
yeah, it's
right?
3. It's 3 versus 2. So I look at it as like, is it really that big of a difference?
I
Like,
think when it comes to health, you just keep it doesn't. I think you keep playing personally in this opportunity. If you're gonna have a bye week next week, use that bye week and play your team. That's the way I look at it. But
I think either way,
at least until the game's out of hand.
Either way they do it, the Packers are either going to want to use Love or Rodgers to win the game, right? I mean, because this is also next year's tryout for Love. Let's not forget that.
That's a good point.
They're gonna play to win the game. They will. They're gonna try to win this game.
yeah,
Did you
they
say
want
what
to
you were
win.
gonna
So
do?
I'm going to take Green Bay.
Ryan,
Green Bay.
Kyle's taking Green Bay as well. I'm
Do
gonna
it.
take Green Bay as well.
But it's total Lions thing to do to win this game, though.
It's,
Yep.
Or at least keep
Or
it
lose by
close.
1.
Yeah, or at least
on
keep
a
it
last
close.
second
Exactly.
field goal by Crosby.
Yeah,
It
10.
bounces off the left upright and then bounces over to the right, and then instead of bouncing out or in, it's going to bounce down
Yeah.
and then hit 3 times
Yep.
and then fall in.
Yeah, for the first ever 70-yard field goal.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Crosby doesn't have that leg anymore. No.
Yeah, he doesn't have the
arms.
distance. But we're going to jump over to some college. We got 2 college picks. We're going to start with the only college football game left on the docket. We got Georgia
Even our picks are long.
against Alabama. Yeah, right? Against Alabama. Alabama 3-point underdog.
Yeah, that's dumb.
So you're taking Alabama?
I don't know.
Michael, what are you doing?
Georgia looked good. Saban's going to get him again. I'm going to go with Bama.
Kyle's taking Georgia. Ryan?
Yeah, that's the sucker pick. I mean, Alabama, dogs, come on. I'm taking Bama. Plus, I go there more often now, so I kind of like Alabama as a state, not as a team.
I'm about to kick you right out of this podcast. You'd be like, yeah, do it. Please.
Georgia was a nice drive, too. Savannah, nice place.
Savannah. There was a murder in Savannah.
More like a molasses.
Gotta go out molasses. Yeah. That was awful. That sounded like Sid from Ace Age.
Yeah, it was.
Anyways, I'm going to go Georgia. It's hard to beat the same team twice in a year, even if you're Nick Saban. So why not just, I don't know. This could be the changing of the guard in the
I think
SEC.
that's more like a saying than real life. Like, people do beat teams 2 times in 1 year.
It is hard, though.
Is it?
In college football, it's hard.
She said.
Okay.
Because you never really have to unless you're
Yeah.
Alabama
Right.
or Georgia.
Right.
Or
Doesn't
just
happen.
in the SEC in general. Yeah, I'm taking Georgia. Next, we have... What? I thought the season was over. Why are we doing a Sparty Party Hazen Blue pick of the week? Sparty Party is a New England IPA with Mandarina, Bavaria, and Amarillo hops, 7% alcohol by volume from Big Lake Brewing. Sparty Party, drink it up. Hazen Blue is a crushable New England IPA featuring Citra and Mosaic hops and brewed with real blueberries, 5.5% alcohol by volume. Big Lake Brewing, great beers. Ryan, nice hat. You got the Big Lake Brewing
you.
hat on.
Yeah.
Looks good on you. Saturday, January 8th, 2:30. You got Michigan State basketball game. So the line is not out yet. I set this myself. I went with Michigan plus 6.5 at home. I'm not going to reset the music because we got to move through this thing.
Give me Michigan State.
Yeah.
I mean,
Michigan's looked bad.
sorry, your line, that's not even going to be close.
Yeah,
No.
I'm taking MSU.
What do you think the line will be?
11.5.
You think it'll be more like 11.5?
I don't know. The fact that they
Should
lost
be.
to Rutgers by 8 tonight, yeah, I'm going to go with MSU.
I'm going Michigan.
Nice.
I think you're going to win this game. I think this is the changing of this. They're going to bring this team's going to come together.
Yeah.
Starting Saturday.
They might.
It's going to be Michigan State against Michigan football. It'll be like, wait, you're counting us out?
That's true.
We're the better team.
Except they're both not undefeated. So.
Anyways, real quick, let's get into our beer
Who did you pick?
grades. I took Michigan,
Oh, okay, got it.
Who'd Kyle go with?
Michigan State.
Okay.
Of course.
So that's my chance to
That's my
get
chance.
within. It feels really quiet without the music, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like, do we do this
Dun,
all
dun,
the
dun,
time?
dun.
It does, yeah. Like people,
It's weird.
this sounds awful right now.
Yeah, I'd hate to listen.
Anyways, real quick, what are we drinking tonight, Ryan?
Oh, we're drinking. Thanks.
I agree with you.
Radio
Ryan.
Taiso. Radio Taiso. This is the Japanese rice lager
Or
from
Chinese. I've heard it both ways.
Ascension Brewing Company. Again, 4.5% alcohol. I don't have a lot of information about this. This is like a mystery lager beer, except that it's a Japanese rice lager, and it's got a unique flavor to it. What do you think about it?
This beer makes me want to try another Japanese rice lager.
I'm with you. I think this
It's
is
got really good flavor.
really good flavor.
It's
for a
very
lager.
light, very easy to drink. This is the type of beer that I would love to go on like a little bit of a light beer binge on and see how I would go.
I'd love to go beer tasting specifically for Japanese rice beers.
I don't know if I've never seen a Japanese rice beer,
I don't know.
Other
I'm
than this
not
one.
sure either. But
and it stood out. The can looks awesome. You
yeah,
got the
I like
you
it.
got the proper the wrapper on there. But anyways, it is from Ascension Brewing Company, which is in Novi, Michigan.
Cool place.
Yeah.
Meadowbrook Road next to Grand River, right? Like
Always
right
get
where those
Tim Hortons right there on that exit to sip on a coffee on the way to LCA.
guys- There you go.
Timmy H.
Timmy H. Get some Bieber bits.
Beaver Bits.
Isn't that what they call 'em?
Is that what they are?
Yeah,
Ti-
like
Timmy
Timbits?
Bits? Timbits?
Well, they have Timbits, but then Bieber came out with his own flavors.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think they're Bieber bits, or maybe they're like,
Maybe
yeah, I don't know.
because he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh,
Makes sense.
got it.
All right, Ryan, what kind of grade would you give this?
I'm gonna grade this off of being a lager and my expectations going in. I'm going 8-1. This really impressed me.
Ooh.
I would pick this over so many other lagers. If I'm gonna have a choice, I'm going back to this.
Yeah, light lagers, and I feel like we say that all the time. when we have light lagers, like, this is actually a really good light lager.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe we all like lagers.
maybe we actually like them way more than we thought.
But I'm still saying, like, this outranks a lot of the other ones, which I got to
Yeah,
go above
no, I
them,
agree.
right?
Like, this is right in line with the Locals Light.
Lost Art.
Lost Art,
They've got a good lager.
do they?
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I really liked it. I'm going to go with a 7.9. I don't know why, but because it was good.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get flavor in that type of beer, but it still had really good flavor.
There you go.
That makes sense. Anyways, that was episode 138, I think.
What do we have with time?
2:15.
Did we break a record?
No, we're still setting right. But that was episode 138. Thank you guys for recording. Thank you all for watching live and not commenting.
It was fun.
Thank you guys for listening after the fact. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
You've been listening to State of My Sports.
Peace, guys.
From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.